at nominees for president, they got Tim Walz at like I think either number two or number three. They got Gavin Newsom. It might be Tim Walz in the same. No, you know who it is? The astronaut from Arizona, General Kelly. They got General, so they got likely candidates. Appreciate that, Blue. Didn't see who. And James Harper, thank you very much as well. Somebody sent me the hat and mustache. Appreciate that. Blue One Banks, thank you very much. So this is going to be kind of an open forum. Want to hear what's on your minds tonight? I am delighted to say that my Chicago Bears handedly beat Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns, and it looks like Denver may beat the Green Bay Packers. So if we could get both of these to happen at the same time, it would be a delightful day football-wise. But we're talking politics now. We'll talk about Mike Lindell because I'd like to hear you folks what your spiel is on it. Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy for governor. Don't know what his resume looks like. Remember, people were talking about how Kamala Harris wasn't qualified for the gig and all of this DEI stuff. What qualifications does Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy? Now, I know he ran My Pillow, the company, but I mean, wasn't he like a crack addict or something like that? I mean, we can bring up Willie Brown with Kamala Harris. I mean, what can we bring up with Mike Lindell running for governor of Minnesota? So we'll talk about that. I don't personally think he has a chance in Minnesota. That's a fairly blue state now. I don't believe that Mike Lindell. Certainly, there's obviously a large Somali population that's there as well, and most of them can vote. So now they're not enough to really shift the politics. I don't believe in Minnesota. There's not that many of them there, but I don't think Mike Lindell would get a single Somali voter at this point. So because of his association with President Trump, but certainly he's running for president. We were not. I didn't work on that anymore. Hands of Conservative. I gotta still work on that. You was talking about getting on Rumble because I would like to go live on Rumble, but I haven't had time to work on it. So we're currently on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and about to go live on X. I got another device about to key up on X, but in addition to Mike Lindell, like I said, we're having an open forum, so this is where you get that. I want to hear what's on your mind. You can certainly question what's on my mind. By the way, we were talking about this last live also about this oil tanker that President Trump seized off the coast of Venezuela. He seized an oil tanker claiming that it was headed for Iran and going to be used to aid and assist terrorism. I did want to ask this question. If we can seize an entire oil tanker, why couldn't we seize the drug boats? We literally used Black Hawks and had folks rappelled down on this oil tanker and took it into custody. Why couldn't we do the same with these little small boats that only had a few people on it? It just kind of makes you wonder if the destruction of those smaller boats was even necessary. If you're doing this to something as large as an oil tanker. So I do want to hear from you folks on that. Why would you seize the oil tanker but destroy the drug boats? When clearly it shows you've made a perfect demonstration that we can seize boats. We don't have to blow them up. So, and I see the comments. You're right, Blue One Banks, and video recorded it. Right. And your video recorded it. So it almost looks like the blowing up of the boats, the smaller boats, was just done for the sake of it. Completely unnecessary. So we're going to talk about that as well. Last but not least, now I know all of you folks, we discussed this also in the last live, but I know you folks are aware that Indiana refused to gerrymander its elections, its congressional map in the upcoming midterms. And the Trump administration, President Trump himself was not happy. But I don't know if you've heard this, but I'll go ahead and read this for you because I think this is worthy of noting. Heritage Action stated, President Trump has made it clear to Indiana leaders if the Indiana Senate fails to pass the map, all federal funding will be stripped from the state. Roads will not be paved. National Guard bases will close. Major projects will stop. These are the stakes, and every no vote will be to blame. How does this get by without this being viewed as being corrupt as hell? So you're in the Republican Senate. They want to gerrymander the votes, and they're telling you if you don't gerrymander the votes, they're going to stop federal funding for all of the citizens in your state that has nothing to do with that. How is this? How is MAGA remaining silent on this? Now, this went out December 11th, so this is 3 days ago. I'm asking, why is MAGA silent on something that appears to be so fucking corrupt? You actually threaten not to fund the National Guard and the infrastructure of the state because of this vote? That means you're going to hurt innocent Indiana citizens because of what a senator did that you didn't like, which, by the way, they do have a choice to vote either way. Vote my way, I'm going to punish your whole state. Why is this not being, have you heard it discussed on Fox, Newsmax, OAN? So anyway, we're going to talk about this. Like I said, tonight is kind of an open forum. I do want to hear what's on your mind as well. And how you feeling about things in terms of the Democrats seem to be, I would suppose they seem to be viewing it with like as if there's a little bit of light at the tunnel. Things have not went so bad recently. So looking in the comments here briefly, by the way, somebody let me know on TikTok because I want to make sure this is not set to sub only or anything like that. Because I don't, and I appreciate Jerry you sharing the live. Thank you very much. Did you ever get the tumble? No, we didn't get the Rumble thing there. I'll go straight to the box and Timoteo. Good evening. Welcome to the show, Timoteo. Long time no here. How's it been, man?
You're doing good, man. You are on sub only, just so you know.
Fuck. I gotta figure. We'll make this happen, and then after you, I'm gonna drop it to cancel that, and then come back. So what brought you up, man? I ain't talked to you in a while.
Well, I just wanted to let you know that you're on sub only, mainly because I can't comment when you have it like that.
Okay. Fair enough.
Subscribe.
Fair enough. Let me go ahead. Because I'm going to drop right after you and I talk and fix that. I don't know why it's still there. It must have been from a live I did a while ago because I've been trying to turn that off.
All right. No problem, man.
All right. Thanks.
Later.
All right. So for you folks on TikTok, give me a minute. I'm going to drop the live and fix that problem and come right back. And for you folks that are watching on the other, a terrorist attack occurred at Bondi Beach involving 2 offenders, a 50-year-old. Yeah, I heard about this. 16 people. I think that is the 16 number still accurate? I think it went up. I am aware of that. In fact, that was the first place I went when I moved to Australia. That was the first tourist spot I visited was Bondi Beach. That's crazy. That you don't hear that happening too much in Australia, but they have had. Not even They have had a few events like that in Australia, but like I said, it is rare that happens there. I don't even think since I left, and it's been about 15 years since I left, I don't think there's been even 5 of them. I don't think there's even been 5 mass casualty events in Australia like that. And I don't think there's been a single one in schools. I don't think there's been a single mass casualty event in a school in Australia in the 15 years since I've been gone. And obviously, compared to America, something where over here it happens we probably have one in a school at least once a month, at least one school shooting per month in America, I think. Now, obviously, America is a significantly larger country than Australia, but none in 15 years is pretty cool. But look, there's a lot of folks who say, well, see, after what happened at Bondi Beach in Australia, see, that shows you that, even if you ban them, it'll still happen or people can still. Well, apparently the father and son that did that in Australia were using licensed guns, which is similar to America. Most of the mass casualty events in America involve legal firearms as well. Parkland, Ubalde, Sandy Hook, all of those were legal firearms. Most of the mass casualty events in this country, oftentimes the person that does it was a legal gun owner right up to the point where they started pulling the trigger. So, but yeah, in Australia, that's very, very rare. It's very rare to hear of mass casualty events coming out of that country. So, and I've talked to several friends over there, and yeah, they're not used to it like in America. In America, you hear popping sounds go off, you kind of already know. Whereas over there, because I looked at the footage, I'm like, they don't even look like they're running in the beginning. Probably didn't even know what was going on. So big difference over there. But anyway, looking in the comments, happened to freedom of what happened to freedom happened to freedom of religion and the Constitution and the Geneva Convention and the Native Right Act. I don't know what you're suggesting there or saying there in the comments there. But we'll go ahead and bring it on. 2 pages at the same time, pretty cool. Well, we want to get out to the people. Let me go straight to the box. We'll go back on with Mike. Good evening. Now, this is kind of an open forum, so it's all about what's on your mind. But did you hear Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy, running for governor?
Yeah, he's an idiot.
Think you got a chance?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
But I don't think so.
But he will be heavily endorsed by President Trump. That can make a difference, right?
What's his approval rating again right now?
It's a little bit lower than normal, but I mean it is Trump.
There you go with that. God damn, you just got started. You got the fluff immediately.
No. I mean, no. What are you trying to tell me? You're trying to tell me getting an endorsement by Trump is irrelevant?
No. I'm saying that you said a little bit lower than normal. This isn't a little bit lower.
Okay, a little record lows. Yeah, how about that?
Like you go to the doctor and your blood pressure is 6. It's a little bit lower. I mean, about 115. Shit.
That's a little bit lower than normal. I'm kind of surprised you're talking to me, but it's at 6. You know, okay. So his poll numbers are pretty bad right now, but what if they come up with some sort of replacement for Obamacare that people can rally around? What if they give out stimulus checks? What if the gas prices continue to drop? This is salvageable for President Trump, is it not?
No.
You come on now.
The reason. I'm gonna tell you why it's not. I'm gonna simply tell you why it's not.
Sure.
Because it's not their plan, Tim. It's not their plan to make it right. Look at you taking that deep ass breath.
No, so you're telling me the Trump administration, because everybody knows that healthcare premiums are about to skyrocket. You're telling me they're going to leave that like that?
I'm telling you that no matter what they do, their agenda was never to bring prices down, Tim. Their agenda was to enrich the rich. So you can't do both.
So in other words, with some folks' healthcare premiums about to double, you're saying that they are so favorable to the rich, they're going to leave them like that.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
For example, even if they don't, you got to look at it this way, Tim. All the money that they were trying to cut out of the budget and all of this shit with the Big Beautiful Bill and Doge, it was to take that and give it to the rich. Right?
I do agree with that, yeah.
So they were trying to fool the American people by, if we take it from one place and give it to the other, even if they're going to lose benefits, but you can't give it back because it's gone already. They've allocated to these corporations and people. That's why he's scared about those reciprocal tariffs that the Supreme Court upholding the reciprocal tariffs. This money is not there anymore, Tim.
So in other words, you are confirming that those premiums, in your belief, those premiums will stay sky high because the money's gone already.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, but if what you're saying is true, then he is toast. I mean, because MAGA's going to turn their back on him if they're suddenly unable to get insurance. I mean, you're going to have a large portion listen, you got the Democrats, you got the independents, you got MAGA. MAGA's normally in Trump's camp. The independents and the Democrats are Democrats aren't going to vote for him no matter what. And that's where the independents come in. But if people's premiums remain high like that, I would submit you're going to get a lot of MAGA that would turn on him. I don't know if he's going to do that, Mike. I don't know about that one.
Isn't there? How many times have I told you that their agenda was to burn this bitch down? And so How do you burn it down if you're trying to keep it up, Tim? And now show me the indications that they're trying to keep this shit together.
I mean, I understand your argument. I'm not disagreeing that there's an effort to burn it down, but everybody is not supposed to get burned in the process, are they?
Well, I read you the forward. It told you that some people are going to get hurt. So where am I wrong? This is not even my position. I'm not even telling you my feelings. I'm telling you what they're saying.
Yeah, what you're saying is so devastating, though, Mike. If they do this, I mean, virtually everybody but the 1% will be hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But again, Tim, it's not my position. This is their position. These aren't my words. These are their words. And if you look at their actions, they are executing on their agenda.
How does this not turn into, if what you're saying is true, a super majority for the Democrats come November?
They don't care. They're not planning to be out of this bitch. Why do you think they're moving so fast? They know what's going to end up. They know what's going to end up as bullshit. The only thing that slowed it down to this point is the courts and some of his supporters that they didn't think were going to pivot, like Marjorie Taylor Greene. You think that was on their bingo card?
No. Well, the problem was I don't think they realized the Epstein list turning into the thorn it has turned into. And I do believe that there are even some players that like the Steve Bannons and some of them folks. Well, maybe not Steve Bannon, but I do believe some of the hardcore players on Trump's side probably didn't expect him to be so resistant on the Epstein list. I think many, like Dan Bongino, do you think he went in there expecting Trump to do that? Same thing with Kash Patel. Those are members of his administration. They didn't expect him to be so resistive, I don't think.
No, because they're cult members. They believed everything. So when he's saying release him, I have nothing to hide, they believe that shit. And when he didn't release him, they went, well, wait a minute. Same thing with Marjorie Taylor Greene. She is like escaping Scientology. Does it look familiar?
Yeah, it has resemblances to it. I mean, the crazy thing is, but considering that, I don't think there was anyone that was more MAGA than Marjorie Taylor Greene, and it hasn't taken Trump much effort to convince MAGA that Marjorie Taylor Greene is a traitor now. She was probably the highest ranking, when in terms of MAGA mindset, she probably was right there at the top. And it didn't take Trump more than a couple of days to convince MAGA that she was a traitor. How does that work?
In a cult, that's what happens. These answers are so easy to me because it's so easy to see. It's so easy to see. And the sad part is they can't keep up with this shit.
Well, they seem to be doing so well. They seem to be doing well so far. I mean, now that you got this shit coming out of Minnesota, they believe that the Somalis are a major issue. Muslims in America are a danger. I mean, look, there's a lot of things to deflect to. People believe that Muslims are a major threat to America right now.
When you say people, say his followers. Just say MAGA.
It ain't all MAGA. I'm sure there's some independents in that.
You really believe that?
Few.
Maybe. Okay, maybe. I mean, there's ants everywhere. But at the end of the day, let me give you an example. Did you hear about the JetBlue flight that there was almost a mid-air collision today?
No, I have not heard that today.
Over in the Venezuela airspace.
Why the hell are they flying over Venezuelan airspace right now?
Oh, okay. It was a plane landing in Venezuela. You can look this up too.
A JetBlue, American JetBlue?
It was a JetBlue plane that was landing in Venezuela, and the pilot had to circle back around because there was almost a mid-air collision with a U.S. refueling aircraft that had their transponders turned off.
Yeah. I mean, the military aircraft are not going to broadcast their position, but I'm trying to figure why are American passenger jets? Didn't Trump state that their airspace is a dangerous place to be? Why would JetBlue send somebody in that area?
Well, moreover, why is the military there flying without their transponder on and then turned it on? As a matter of fact, the pilot they actually got a quote from the pilot saying that this was absolutely outrageous because they had to circle back before. He said they were 2 miles apart. That ain't shit.
No, that's for a jet. You could be in there watching get blown away. Well, but the thing about it is, you saying this is in Venezuela?
Yeah, no, let me pull it up.
I really believe that JetBlue is in the wrong on this. I mean, you know what's going on in that area. Why the hell do you have a passenger aircraft in that shit? That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, well, at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't know if they're in the wrong or not. But all I'm saying, see,
is there any other American flights going in that area, leaving America and going into that shit right now? I thought Trump was pretty clear that the airspace over Venezuela is closed.
See, let me see.
Yeah, why would you take a risk and do something like that? That's crazy.
It says near collision over Corico raises alarms at JetBlue crew confronts U.S. military tanker.
I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm not a fan.
You think that's on JetBlue?
Huh?
You think that's on JetBlue?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of what the Trump administration is doing in Venezuela, but we do know they're in Venezuela. Why would you go into what America is turning into a war zone with a passenger aircraft?
Why are we trying to close off their airspace?
Right. I'm not arguing with that. I think what the Trump administration is doing to this country is likely wrong. I'm not disagreeing with that, but it's not like you don't know what they're doing. I mean, you don't go fly into that shit. You can't.
No. Let me be clear. Let me back up. It was departing from there, coming to New York. It was going to John F. Kennedy International Airport.
It was leaving Venezuela.
Yep.
Like I said, I question any passenger aircraft really from any country right now. Why would you risk your passengers? Listen, I think the whole world feels
Wait a minute.
Hold on, hear me out. I think the entire damn world feels like what we're doing in that area is wrong. But they know we're in that area. Just like what Russia is doing with Venezuela, but Ukraine is wrong. But that don't mean you fly a passenger jet over Ukraine and say that Russia's wrong for being here. You know they're here.
But is it illegal for them to operate their country and have flights flying in and out of there? Is it illegal?
No.
So why would they be culpable?
The same example I gave you about Russia and Ukraine. It's not illegal for the Ukraine to fly passengers just in and out of its country, but it's a fucking war zone. If you're going to take off from Ukraine, you got to understand you're putting yourself at an exaggerated amount of risk. I mean, it's wrong for them to be here.
I understand that. There's an active war going on. But are we saying there's a war going on with Venezuela right now, where this country can't have flights departing? Flights or flights landing, coming and going?
Yes, we are saying that. The man literally said that airspace over Venezuela is closed. He literally said that. Your enemy says the airspace over your country is closed. What do you think that means?
How can they? Is there a declaration of war? I'm confused. I'm sorry.
You're arguing legalities when this is a completely illegal action. I'm not defending what America's doing at all. I'm just simply saying from a common sense standpoint, you know what they're doing. That's like literally somebody took a hostage situation at a bank downtown. You know, yeah, it's wrong, but you don't go walk into the fucking bank. I mean, you know what they doing in there.
You're talking about an active situation. I don't disagree with your analogy if that was the case, but that's Trump. Just because Trump says that, so them as a nation, a sovereign nation, is supposed to just stop flights in and out. Is that what you're telling me?
I think we would do that if let's say somebody was bombing Puerto Rico and they had a whole bunch of vessels surrounding Puerto Rico. Like, I don't think we would be taking off with regular flights of passengers going in and out of it. I think we would stop, just like we did on September 11th. Until we figured out what the hell was going on, we didn't keep flying around. It's dangerous.
But it happened. It's not like we knew it was going. It just happened. But because again, let me rephrase it. If Venezuela said U.S. flights are not safe, would he stand for that?
No, but you would have,
And then what
but
would
we
happen?
also would not stand for so many military assets of Venezuela to be off our coast and to be shooting boats. I mean, we literally are killing people in the region already and making it clear it's only going to be a few days before we're on the ground there. You can't just launch passenger jets in the middle of that shit.
Your analogy is screaming that we are the actual terrorists. You do understand that, right?
Yes. How many times do I have to say what we're doing is wrong? Yes. But I even made the comparison of Russia to Ukraine.
I understand.
Yes.
But so we as America, so America is now acting like a T group. Is that what you're saying, Tim?
Yeah. What we're doing to the Ukraine, what we're doing to the Venezuelans, and like I mentioned in the beginning of the show, we're blowing up these little small boats, but we actually were able to seize and maintain the lives of all of the folks on board a large oil tanker. So that means we clearly didn't have to destroy the little small boats. Yes, we're killing that wheel. We're just doing it for the sake of leaving a message behind, kind of like a terrorist would do. Yes, but you don't fly. You don't fly off near an ISIS or an Al-Qaeda base. You know they're terrorists. You know what they're doing. You can't just fly off passenger jets.
So, and I don't disagree with anything you said, but I'm saying if the messaging is, because I agree, I believe that this whole administration is acting like a T group, dictatorship, all of that shit. I don't disagree with that. But I'm saying to lay that on an entire nation, a sovereign nation at that, is basically just as bad as I'm saying. It's just as bad as I've been saying that it is.
I'm not even putting it on the nation, not even just the nation. I'm putting it on the airline as well. If you got United or Delta or American or something, and they take off on September 12th, right after September 11th, and something happens, you got a lawsuit against that airline. You know what's going on in this area. You know it's not safe to fly. I don't give a damn that what they're doing is terroristic. You know they're doing it. Why would you take passenger flights? You shouldn't even be doing this as an airline.
I would have to look up and see how long that's been going on, that it has or has not been going on. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if they've ever stopped. I don't know if they've ever stopped international flights.
Let me ask it to you this way. If you were the head of the insurance company of JetBlue, would you cover those flights taking off out of Caracas? Would you be willing to insure JetBlue while they were launching these flights in the middle of what America's doing in their country?
Apparently they are, right? Because listen, they understand it better than me. It sounds like JetBlue or any other, and I'm going to Google this when I get off the live. I'm going to look up and see how many airlines are flying in and out of Venezuela.
That's crazy to even think about doing that.
I know, but what's crazier, Tim, is the fact that we, as the United States of all, have taken on the position of a dictatorship in a T group. Think about that now. And it's funny, Jeremy is in the comments. No, I won't. I always do, Jeremy. That's why you can't fuck with me with this shit. So anyway, stay your.
Well, I think he said no. You would not insure JetBlue if it was your call.
Said, no, I won't look it up or insure. But here's the thing: I'm not JetBlue. I literally said I'm going to look it up because they know better than both of us. If JetBlue or any other airlines are flying into Venezuela, they've had some sense of comfort that maybe they shouldn't have, because I guess they wouldn't think that the U.S. would be acting in this manner, Tim. That's all I'm saying.
How much shit does the U.S. have to do before you realize they're capable of acting in any manner? Like what I just mentioned during the monologue, President Trump threatened Indiana if they didn't gerrymander the state that he was going to cancel funding for the National Guard and their infrastructure. How much more shit you need to see?
I'm not talking about me. I'm good. I told you that these motherfuckers was dictators and fascism and all that over a year ago. Yeah, I'm saying that you sitting on your live with your YouTube over there and your Rumble over there, whoever's listening, all your MAGA people, tell them that their MAGA and their leader is a fucking dictator now, Tim. Please. Because that's what you just said.
They don't. Well, I said some of the stuff he's doing. Hold on. I said some of the stuff he's doing is terroristic. Like, I think what he's doing in Venezuela, because he wants to get rid of Maduro, he's going to terrorize the nation until what he's done to everybody from Marjorie Taylor Greene in Indiana. I'm going to terrorize you until you realize you either listen or pay a heavy price. I mean, bullying is what he does best. So he's doing it to Venezuela now.
So tell me the last time in your lifetime you've ever used the word terrorist to talk about the actual administration and president.
Dude, quite often. I mean, look at what happened to African Americans in this country. There's been tons of terrorism in this country.
No. I'm saying that you like they're acting like an international terrorist group, like ISIS or somebody. Is that what you're telling me?
I don't, listen, to be honest with you, I think what we were doing during the Bush administration was terroristic to some degree. Them people were scared them people were afraid of the sky in Iraq. They literally are afraid of the sky because the drones and shit was new technology back then. I mean, we've been committing acts of terror for quite a while. This ain't new.
This is new.
It's a new type of terror.
To have a sovereign nation, based on, I'm back to what you're saying, to have a sovereign nation not have any flights leaving their country and you're not at an active time of war is insane. And coming from the most powerful country in the world is absolutely insane.
Were we actually officially at war with Iraq? I'm trying to think, because we closed their airspace down too. I mean, shit. You probably everywhere we went from Panama, Grenada, we do this shit, Mike. This is kind of what America does.
This shit right here is terrible, and the fact that they had the transponder off, then turned it on, and they were flying in the. They were too close to an area to have the transponders off.
Well, the military, listen, the military does not want to broadcast their position. Sir, you said an oil tanker. I mean, the valuable target like that.
It was a refueler.
Yeah, basically an oil tanker in the sky. Yeah, refueling. I mean, them kind of aircraft, valuable like that, it doesn't fly very fast. Probably like a C5, C-130, something. I mean, they don't want to let you know where they're at. I mean, that's common for military aircraft to turn off their transponders, is it not? When they're in a hot zone like that. I mean, it's not a declared war zone officially, but in the eyes of the Trump administration, it is a war zone.
Everything is a war zone in their eyes. That's the problem. That's the fucking problem. The U.S. streets are a war zone. Once they declare it, that's what it is. And that's how they're operating. And that's a fascist movement. And that's a dictatorship. You can call it whatever you want. Listen, and here's the sad part, Tim. If there would have been a mid-air collision, we would have lost military soldiers for what? For what?
Yeah, we probably would have blamed it on either JetBlue or Venezuela too.
Exactly, and it's just crazy, Tim, to think about, and the supporters that continue to support him or push back are just cult members, just getting worse and worse every single day. It's just insanity.
I really think though, you're pondering what's fair versus unfair for people that a large portion of the country do not give a damn about. Like when it comes to the Venezuelans in the boat. Yeah, they got drugs on them. Do they not have? It doesn't matter. I mean, when Trump said these people are vermin, these people are, what did he call them? Poison in the blood. Who gives a shit if they actually have drugs? They don't care about these people. So it doesn't need to be legitimate what he's saying, even though it does sound like the boats he's hitting. It does sound like most of them do have drugs on them. Nobody really cares. Just like with ICE, when they're roughing up brown people, okay, maybe he's a citizen, maybe he's not. They don't care about the people. So you're trying to use logic on people that they don't care. They don't care if the person is a citizen or not, has drugs on them or not. They don't care about them.
And the description you're talking about, they don't care, sounds like terrorists. And you're talking about the U.S., the United States government and the Trump administration. Listen how crazy that sounds. And I want you Trump supporters that just listen to Tim say what he said.
They're going to tell me I'm fucking wrong, though. So this is my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but from what I've seen, they don't care about him. It doesn't matter. Like the Somalis that are being called garbage because of this fraud that's being committed in Minnesota. Most of the Somalis there has nothing to do with that fraud. Most of the Somalis that are in Minnesota are not illegal immigrants. They're not in the country illegally. They're not committing crime. They don't fucking care. Group them all in together and get their asses out of here. They don't care.
Tim, you know how I feel. I know them racist motherfuckers don't care. I've been saying this shit for a long time. And so now because normally you'll try to equivocate and kind of fluff for you. I get it. But you're saying the quiet part out loud because you have nowhere else to go but say it at this point, right?
Yeah.
It's been a long road, Tim. It's been a long goddamn road. It's been a long road.
I'm not gonna cop to that. You've been right about a lot, but I'm not gonna cop to that. I gotta move it on.
Hold on. Before you move it on, if you don't mind, and I know it's your show, you can dictate it how you want. You can drop me and blow me off, But anyway, that's what I'm saying. To those in the comments, these Trump supporters that think this is okay, I want you guys to remember something. This isn't 1930. This isn't 1940. This isn't 1950. If you think that people are just going to sit idly by while you take on the persona of your dear leader and impose that shit at our level as U.S. citizens, like Jeremy walking up and saying something to somebody, man, you guys are going to be picking out, you're going to be looking at clouds trying to figure out what kind of shapes is up there. People aren't going to take it, Tim.
I hear that, but I'm watching ICE have no problem going into cities, rolling people over. If you come deep enough, you come heavily armed enough, you can do whatever the hell you want. I'm seeing it.
Yeah,
and this is what
I'm saying. I'm not talking about ICE. I'm talking about these other MAGA supporters running around here that get emboldened. You remember during C-19 when they were just coughing in people's face because Trump was telling them that it wasn't. That's the shit I'm talking about. Okay. I'm talking about those people. I'm talking about those people marching to this fascist movement and thinking people are just going to lay down and take it. They're not. We're not.
We'll see.
Y'all better wake the hell up, man.
We'll see. Mike, gotta go.
I'll be listening.
Appreciate it. And you guys let me know as I bring you up. Let me know, am I getting it wrong? When I say that, it does not matter if what Trump is saying about Somalis or Venezuelans, at least in the eyes of MAGA and many right-leaning independents, they don't care about the people. They think the people are bad for the country no matter what. I don't think it matters if the convictions that Trump is placing upon them are accurate or not. Okay, he wasn't carrying drugs, but we don't need them here anyway. Or, something of that nature. They don't care if what he is saying about them is accurate. They're viewed as bad people, poison in the blood of the country, vermin. They need to go. I think that's what is being viewed here, which is why when it does appear that some immigrant is being roughed up and it turns out he's a citizen or somebody is like Kilmar Abrego Garcia is probably a perfect example. God damn. I mean, they've really put that guy through the ringer. So what? He needs to go. They don't care. You've been here 30 years, haven't done anything except for you came here illegally. You need to go. Don't care. The whole message is we don't care. Just get rid of them. That's what I'm seeing. Let me know if you see it any different. Finding more crime than illegal aliens on how unexpected. What do you mean by that? Finding more crime than illegal aliens. I don't get what you're saying about that, Mr. Zan. Someone stop this black man. Doom. What does that say? Doom somebody's name. Stop me from doing what? Trump is a mouthpiece for the Heritage Foundation. Project 2025 is about 50% of their goals. Trump is getting a lot accomplished. He is getting a lot accomplished. That man can hold the schedule. That man has incredible stamina. I mean, people keep claiming that the guy's health is failing and things like that. He's sure if it is, he must is literally going to die on his feet if his health is failing, because he seems to have no problem maintaining the schedule. James, good evening. Welcome to the program. Now, I saw you in the comments. You wanted to, was there something Mike was saying, my last caller, that you wanted to address, James?
Yeah, both.
Or Jeremy, rather.
Jeremy. Yeah. What? Hey, learn my name, okay? Anyway.
That sounds like some gay shit, but go ahead.
No, it's just what I talk to your wife like. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway.
Go ahead.
Look, okay, he got a bunch of shit wrong when it came to the military stuff, but he was even more wrong when it comes to the healthcare stuff. So let's start with healthcare. Okay, it is just a fact that every time healthcare has been that the government gets involved in healthcare, that shit just goes wrong. Part of the reason why healthcare is so expensive is because the government eventually took over, or when it came into licensing doctors, and they refused to allow more than a certain amount of doctors every year since the 80s, and that number hasn't changed.
So you believe government should be completely out of healthcare?
Not completely. They should be like a referee. They should be the ones to set the rules and have governing bodies that oversight private.
Yeah, but if I'm homeless and government's not in healthcare, how do I get health insurance?
Charities, they actually, and believe it or not,
charity.
Yes. No, Mike. Sorry,
that's
Tim.
crazy.
My bad.
That's crazy.
My bad.
Get my name right, motherfucker.
I
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute.
I didn't mean to insult you with a low IQ name. Anyway,
no, Mike be no. Don't listen. Don't disrespect. Mike be on his shit. So listen. I want to learn from everybody. Mike definitely shares a lot of knowledge. What you got? You insulting somebody like Mike? What you got?
Listen. Okay. When it comes to healthcare, most people up to the 60s were actually insured. Believe it or not, this was before our government ever got involved.
I can tell you one thing: that wasn't in my community.
Yeah, there was racism that
right.
unfortunately did. Yeah, but without racism involved, most people were insured. And by the way, there was a much larger white population back then, so it was even more people than you think it was.
But let me interrupt and say this to you also, Jeremy. Before black people gained their freedom, a lot more social safety nets were available. A lot of folks would be okay with having social safety nets if the money didn't go to black and brown people. Once the money started being available to black and brown people, a lot of folks believe that black and brown people are lazy and just ride the system, and they would rather the money not be available for anybody. If you're going to have money available for these lazy fucks, I'd rather nobody have access to it. So that's what ended up happening. But there used to be social safety nets, like you're talking about, for white people. But once they had to apply to everybody, a lot of white people was like, well, then maybe we need to get rid of the program altogether.
No, it was because government actually put in laws that actually restricted that what private industries and nonprofits could actually do. Like, there was.
I don't believe that's accurate, but keep going.
Yeah. So, and here's the thing, Tim. Okay, the people that you think are gonna say oh, black people shouldn't get healthcare, black people shouldn't be able to do this, black people shouldn't be able to do that, conservatives and all of that and stuff. Conservatives have been shown repeatedly in every study that has ever been done on it, overwhelmingly donate more to charity, both in time and money, than any other group, especially Christians.
Yeah, but the problem is, because I listen to a lot of Fox News and stuff like this, I hear about these type of healthcare programs. You can actually affiliate with people of your own beliefs or donate to this, and we don't do things that go against your belief. The problem is, if you have charity groups, people are only going to want to donate charity to people that they believe are similar to them. Like, for instance, people in the hood where they think they're all lazy and sitting around like welfare crowd. I don't want my charity money going to them lazy fucks. That's what used to happen. That's why charity doesn't work. The people who are giving are going to want to control where the money's going to. The same way you always hear them say when it comes to tax dollars. Well, who's going to pay for that? I don't want my money going to that. I don't want my money going to this or going to that. They're not going to want their money going to certain people. So charity's not going to work for the simple fact is, if I live in a poor neighborhood, nobody in my neighborhood can really pool together charities to help each other. We all fucking poor. And the people that live outside of our neighborhood ain't gonna put nothing in it. They're gonna put money in their neighborhoods.
Tim, have you ever heard of the Knights of Columbus?
Kinda. That sounds really close to something else. What are you getting at?
The Knights of Columbus are one of the oldest Catholic organizations that was started in America first. And you want to know why they were started?
Why?
Because the very poor people that you're talking about, except they weren't black, they were oftentimes Irish and Italians. Europeans that were very, very poor and were treated almost just as bad as blacks at the time, to the point where their Irish people were called they were called white N-words. They had no real ability to get jobs that were other than the most dangerous and low-paying jobs out there. Construction jobs in foundries, things that would burn you, cut you, slice you up, decapitate you, all that stuff. And this organization became so popular that even though people could only give a little bit, it managed to actually give a lot more healthcare to a lot more people.
Where are they at now? It's a whole lot of poor people still in existence. Where are they at?
I used to be one of them. I guarantee you, if you look up right now, if you type in Knights of Columbus, whatever city you're in, you will find in a clubhouse that exists right now.
How do you respond to one of my viewers in the comments, Florstein, I think, I can't pronounce all of that name, but he says Knights of Columbus are a Christian nationalist organization with roots in the KKK. What say you?
Yeah, that lobotomite could go suck a bunch of rocks.
No, but is that true though?
No, they're Catholic. First off, okay.
What is the name of the group? The Knights of Columbus. You said
the Knights of Columbus. Yeah.
Hang on one second. Alexa, does the Knights of Columbus have any ties to the KKK?
No, the Knights of Columbus has no ties to the KKK. In fact, they were on opposite sides. The Knights actively fought against the KKK in the 1920s since the Klan persecuted Catholics. Would you like to learn more about the history of the Knights? That's pretty good. No, Alexa, stop. Wow. Okay. All right. Listen, I don't know enough about them, but there we go. That sounds like that leans towards your favor. But I'm just going to tell you what I said in the beginning. There's not enough charitable people. Certainly, I mean, you see in this environment where people are getting richer and richer and they're not known to be charitable. Most of the charity in this country comes from people that are probably one step above you and I. I mean, it's mostly middle class and people who are damn near right out the poorhouse that donate the most. Rich people, I mean, there's a reason why they're so fucking rich. I mean, have you heard of a lot of charities coming out of Bezos or Elon Musk? Do you hear about them giving away a lot of shit? Now, I know Bezos' ex-wife is doing it.
Not those particular people, but yeah, rich people have donated a lot. I mean, think about what like, I don't like either one of these people, but what about the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation?
Yeah, there's some, but there's not enough is what I keep telling you. There is not enough of that happening. When you go back to the era before we had charities in this country, people were considerably poor. Certainly, like I said, in my community, it was worse than it is now. I mean, that's why people claim that welfare, women left their husbands and sought out welfare and shit like that. It was terrible for people of color back then before they had social safety nets. It was horrible.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it wasn't because this was a very racist country. We have our history of racism, which is not something I've ever denied about the United States of America. But the difference is it's been an evolving country. We've always been a country that has been designed for.
You think that's one away when you got women out here? You got a woman called a 5-year-old boy the N-word, and people started using their charities to create a GoFundMe page for the racist. Somebody else just did that at a Cinnabon restaurant where the person's behind the counter. Yeah, and people were donating money to her. So when you say we used to have racism, I don't know. They're showing you right now that if we had a charity organized society, who they would donate to. They're literally donating money to people because a person said something racist. So you think those folks could be counted on to look out for poor blacks?
Have you ever heard the Italian phrase "menefrego"?
No.
Yeah. I'm sure Mike hasn't heard it either because he doesn't read. But
why are you fucking with Mike?
Because he's a lobotomite that keeps trying to act all tough and mighty.
All right, what do you got? I've never heard of it. What am I missing?
Menefrego was a fascist phrase that was put around because the republics of the time. This is something you saw in Weimar, Germany, and in the pre-Mussolini Italy after they lost the war. They said it's because the government at the time was ignoring the problems that the fascists were talking about. If you want to guarantee that a fascist will get in power, ignore the people. Ignore the people. And menefrego basically translates to, I don't give a fuck. And that's how a lot of people feel about when they rape racist woman and call that a little boy the N-word. Okay, you want to know why? So things like teen takeovers, so things like that, like Irina Zorutska, getting stabbed by someone who should have been jailed for a lot longer, but it wasn't. More than likely because he's black. I'm going to tell you if people are donating money to racists, that makes it clear that racist. I mean, these people are raising tons of money. $100,000 just because a woman said the N-word. Really? I mean, that shows you racism is alive and well to the point where people will literally put their money behind it. I wouldn't say it's alive and well, but it's coming back. And a lot of the
crime
that's been happening, a lot of the black crime that's been coming back and has not been punished is part of the reason why it's making people racist.
But here's what I don't get, Jeremy. We can see when Somalis commit crime and not be punished, or Venezuelans or Afghanis. But there are plenty of cases of, let's say, white people commit snap fraud. The same folks that are pissed off about the Somalis are totally silent. Right? Trump is pardoning criminals every fucking week. But you're talking about, well, these black people are getting off of crime. Why aren't they? Why did the judge let them go? Trump is letting go some pretty severe criminals. I mean, like kingpins and shit like that. But no comment on that. But then all of a sudden, some little ho-dunk judge in some small town lets out a black man and he goes on and commits a second crime. He's all of a sudden all over the news on the right. Meanwhile, Trump pardons the J6ers. They're getting in shootouts with the cops and every damn thing. Not one mention of that. Why isn't that making them same people angry?
Because they don't want to admit that the leader that they elected isn't who he says he was. It's kind of like this. You like if you raise a kid and he seems good most of his life, and all of a sudden you find out that he raped somebody, okay? And then you don't want to. You have an emotional attachment to the kid, and you don't want to admit it to yourself. So you deny, and you try to find a way where he's not guilty. Trump is the same thing. They're trying to find a way where the conservative that they thought they were electing is actually who he says he is.
Yeah, but you can't complain about people not being punished for committing crimes and be caught totally ignoring, if not endorsing, a guy that is continuing to pardon criminals. Trump is pardoning big criminals. I mean, it normally is when it's time for them to leave, they do a lot of controversial pardons on the way out. He's pardoning people controversial pardons like once a week. He's doing that shit.
I'm not unsupporting him. You know that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if your argument is people are starting to get somewhat racist because they're seeing folks get away with crimes, and them same folks are ignoring Trump pardoning a bunch of white people that committing crimes, I think you're kind of alluding to racism. Not you, but I'm saying those groups are against minorities getting away with crimes, but they're ignoring when Trump pardons white people that are getting away with crimes. That sounds like racism.
On some level, they are becoming more racist because, again, they're feeling driven to it. They're feeling, like on a common level, like, sure, like Trump doing this to a few people who are white or who are just not the demographic that he usually goes after, or people. That's why a lot of people are not approving of Trump anymore. That's why a lot of the people who voted him in and have dropped his poll numbers pretty far down. But at the end of the day, we're seeing that liberal judges in liberal spaces, especially on the West and East Coast, these coastal elites who have no connection into the rest of the country, are pardoning or giving small slap on the wrist punishments to people who honestly probably deserve the chair.
But like I said, you can't complain about that while supporting Trump. He just took it. I'm not talking about you, though. We're talking about the community as a whole. People, you're giving me reasons why racism is growing. They're tired of seeing minorities committing crimes and getting away with them or getting slaps on the wrist. And I'm saying that the same people that are saying what you're saying are ignoring Trump pardoning drug kingpins and shit like that. That doesn't make sense.
Again, it's an emotional connection. We're all biased when it comes to the people who we choose to be soft on. Okay, there are people in your life who I know for a fact, if they did something wrong, you wouldn't be as hard on them as a stranger.
And if somebody called me out on it, I would readily admit, yeah. I mean, because what you're basically saying then is MAGA's full of shit. I mean, you're kind of admitting that. You're okay with
every group is full of shit. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. They are full of shit because they don't want to admit that their dear leader is wrong. And I'm okay with it. Right. I'm okay with saying that. I don't hide that.
So how does it look? So how does it look if you ignore whites being pardoned for crimes and getting a slap on the wrist via Trump? Because right now he's trying to get Tina Peters out of jail as well. If you're ignoring all of this, but then at the same time when you see a black person commit a crime, you're saying, not you, but you're saying it's encouraging them to be racist. To me, it almost sounds like the racism was already in them. All it took is to see this guy do a crime. You could watch whites do crimes over and over again, and it's not going to create some kind of dissension towards whites. But if you see it coming from Somalis, Afghanis, or somebody, all of a sudden now you can paint the whole group as bad. But no matter how many whites or no matter how many cops you see do wrong, you're never going to hate all cops or all whites. That sounds like it's already in them.
It's not already in a lot of these people. Okay, like most people don't care that someone has a different skin color. Most people were not born racist. Most people
True. That's true.
Most people see actions that they see repeated over and over and over again, and they say, "Well, that's fucked up."
But that's my point, Jeremy. We can talk about.
I did want to say this. If I was what happened to the killer of Irina Zurutska? I don't remember what.
Killer of who?
Irina Zurutska, the Ukrainian girl on the subway who got stabbed.
I mean, he's currently in custody. I mean, there's got to be a trial and things like that. They got to. I think they're going to determine that guy. That guy looked like he's mentally out of it. I know people in this country don't give a damn about whether you're mentally ill or not. If you commit a crime, they want you punished anyway. But that guy is a mental case. I think that if they really treated it right, he would probably be determined as not mentally fit to stand trial. That dude is a mental case.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be on the streets if he's that mentally ill.
Shit, that's the thing. That's a ton of Americans. How many guys have come home from war that got PTSD that probably shouldn't be on the streets?
Apples and oranges. If someone has that much of a track record over and over and over again, and of like repeatedly committing the same crime, and it's because the trial said that they're not mentally fit. Why the hell are we letting them out? I don't disagree with that. But here's the point I'm saying. When I say we can look at blacks like that shouldn't be out, that's got a lengthy criminal history, and get pissed off at the judge or get pissed off at the black community that some of you folks keep committing crimes and keep getting a slap on the wrist and doing it again. But like I said, you hear about a cop that has a lengthy rap sheet of being charged with abuse or being accused of abuse over and over again, or you hear about a church that moved a priest after he was accused of sexual assaulting a kid over here too. You don't have the same mindset. It only seems that you actually do it. I definitely.
No, I'm not talking, Jeremy. I'm not talking about you specifically.
I think even MAGA does.
No, they do not. MAGA don't criticize the Catholic Church or police, and they fit all of the stuff you just said. The police slap on the wrist, commits a bunch of shit.
The Catholic Church has heavily reformed since the.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
Because they talk about it. They've shown on it and
heavily reformed.
They've had. What's up?
Heavily reformed. So they would be okay if the Afghani immigrants heavily reformed? Would they be okay with that as opposed to just throwing them out? Or if the Somalis heavily reformed instead of just throwing them out?
They're not the Somalis and the Afghanis are not a single organization like the Catholic Church is.
But that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to throw them out like they're a single organization.
Here's the thing. I think a lot of these Somalis do need to leave, but I would take it on an individual basis. But here's the thing. I just think that there's going to be a lot of them on that individual basis who are going to need to leave. Because they come from a low trust society. And here's something that they don't want to say, that honestly, I'm just going to say it. Okay? I don't hate anybody regardless of how mentally ill they may be. Okay? Even if they commit horrible crimes like the killer of Irina Zurutska. Even him, I don't hate. I just don't want him on the streets anymore. I have a mentally ill brother. Okay, so he's clearly low on the IQ scale. But here's the thing. A lot of Somalis are inbred, and a lot of them are low IQ.
Oh, wait. Case and Grandma gonna love that. I want to just say this before I let you go. There was a time in this country, and some might suggest it's still happening, where the mafia was committing all sorts of crimes all over New York, Chicago, and major American cities, and there was no push to send the entire Italian population out of the country. And they were doing stuff that was significantly worse than what the Somali population in Minnesota is doing. And nobody was talking about they all need to go back home to Italy. So that's what I'm talking about.
There was extreme racism against the Italians.
They were not. You didn't have the president. You didn't have the president saying it.
The president? Just because the president doesn't say it doesn't mean that people weren't saying, like, "Oh, get these fucking spaghetti, like these guineas."
You're going to compare an actual what's coming from citizens and say that that's different.
And governors.
President Jeremy, president is over all of that shit. The president saying it. You didn't have that.
One fucking guy. Okay, seriously.
The most powerful man in America. One fucking guy. The most powerful man in America. The guy who's in control of all the federal budget, the military. That one fucking guy. That's the guy you talking about?
I'm just saying, okay? Just because one guy doesn't say
He
something
ain't
doesn't
just
mean
one guy. He is not just one guy. That's like
as a whole hated them.
that's like working at Tesla and saying, "Well, Elon is just one guy." You gonna say this about these cars because of one guy? He's Elon Musk. This is Trump. I gotta go, Jeremy. I gotta go. You're crazy about the one guy, though.
Please bring up Gangsta Grandma again. I wanna hear her like just.
We'll be talking
spaz
to
out.
her. All right, Jeremy. Tap the screen, by the way. This is not the easiest live. I've seen a few folks in the comments tearing into me, which is okay. We don't block banner sets. You know how the program is ran. We are, but I always say MAGA friendly. Always have been MAGA friendly, always will be MAGA friendly. We don't have to agree, but I believe MAGA should have their right to free speech. So when you come up on this program, doesn't matter what your opinion is. You can disagree with me, anyone in the comments, etc., etc. We don't limit your time because you got a difference of opinion. So that's how free speech works. His point, Jeremy, is the IT wasn't a gigantic movement like it is now. Thank you, Kev. The mob was against the KKK. Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't think the mob was pro diversity either, though. Maybe they had some kind of financial interest conflict or something that was going on, but I don't think the mob doesn't have a history of being pro diversity. Psychology wasn't discovered yet. Okay, what are you talking about? I'd rather live with 100 Somalis over a single Jeremy. Who said that in the comments? Shadow Use throw something said, I would rather, he's talking about my last caller. I would rather live with 100 Somalis than over a single Jeremy. Damn. That's what's happening here because they are jealous and they are angry that I was about to have a whole lot of money and they're going after me because they're jealous and stalkers. Don't know what you guys are having a conversation with each other. America is used toilet paper. Damn. Okay, tell me how you really feel. One guy, they want him respected every time and everywhere, but then he is the only one guy. Yeah, I don't get that. Yeah, the notion that Trump is just one guy, the president of the United States. That one guy has a lot of power. A lot of power. How about them Bears today, Tim Alter Ego? Yes, not only did my Bears win handedly, by the way, Denver beat the Packers. That made all the difference. Denver just concluded a victory over the Packers, and Packers were, I think, 3-point favorites. So I've had a really good day football-wise. That'll give Bears, I think, 10-4, and that'll knock Packers is probably the same. I think 10-4-1. I think the Packers are. But yes, the Bears back on top. Shout out to the Chicago Bears. Bear down. Looking in the comments though, real quick. We'll go back to the box. We're just talking kind of an open forum today. I did want to hear from you guys. How do you think Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy, running for governor of Minnesota against Tim Walz, aka some say Tampon Tim, but Governor Tim Walz is dealing with Mike Lindell. Also, the oil tanker being seized. Why couldn't they do that to the drug boats? Dean, good evening. Welcome to the program.
Good evening, my friend, Mr. T. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Just hanging around like Jesse Jackson at a Klan meeting, as I always say. So, what brought you on this evening?
Well, I saw you on. I always love talking to you.
Good to have you on. So, what do you know the
You
Mike?
remember me, right?
Huh? I remember the voice. I don't remember the name though.
Okay, well, anyway, couple things.
Sure.
So, what's your opinion as far as Jasmine going for senator?
Ooh, listen, I think she's going to have a tough time running for senator in the Lone Star State, but the state is turning purple. And I will say, if she was going to make the leap, this is probably the best time to do it because there's a lot of dissension towards the Republican Party, towards Trump. It's a lot of Hispanics in Texas. They're not going to be voting right this time. So if there was a time to do it, the time is now. And she likely didn't have much to lose since they gerrymandered her district as a congresswoman. So they flipped her district under her, even though she was likely to win again, but they played a game and took her district from her. So she's like, well, fuck it. I'll go ahead and seek the promotion. I don't feel confident saying she's got it, but like I said, if there was a time to run, this is it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I wish she kind of stayed where she was because she was really helping the Democrats.
Yeah, but she can't stay where she is when they start flipping the districts like that. If they hadn't have done that, she would have stayed where she was. I mean, when they're trying to take her seat from under her by using these basically cheating. I don't want to. I'm trying to avoid saying that, but when you're redistricting twice in only 4 years, there's no excuse for that.
No. And the other thing I want to talk to you about, on YouTube, they have a video called Day of Rage. Have you seen it?
No. What
You
is?
have to check it
What
out.
are they saying? I mean, we've had Kristallnacht in Germany. I mean, we've had a few days of rage throughout history. What would cause the rage? Tulsa.
Okay,
What is it called?
all
Black Wall
about-
Street is another one. But go ahead.
It's all about January 6th.
So are they saying this day of rage is in the future, or are they saying January 6th was a day of rage?
January 6th was a day of rage. You, in your spare time, check it out. Write it down. Day of Rage. It'll blow your mind away.
At this point, now that we have Day of Rage, now that we have almost 5 years to look back on January, there's nothing to be raged about. I mean, like, it's been 5 years, and it's pretty clear that a large portion of the accusations made to even be there on January 6th are either flat out false or have not been proven true. So I don't get it. I mean, I get that they were enraged that day, but now that we got 5 years to look back, it looks like a lot of stuff they were told was not accurate.
Okay, but I'm gonna leave it at that. And when I see you again, give you time to check out the video, and I will tell you what, it'll blow your mind. It wasn't done by reporters. It was done by the people that were at the riot.
Okay. I mean, I know they were pretty angry on January 6th. I'm not disagreeing that they were yelling stop the steal and stuff like that. But if you had have asked them on that day, why are you angry? What is going on? 5 years later, you can look back and see what they told you that they were angry about that day wasn't happening. A lot of things that they were thinking that they were being told it was happening were not happening. They were being angry because they were being fed information that's not accurate. Keep in mind, January 6th, 2021 was only like 2 months after the election. So a lot of the investigations, the court case, all that stuff was still ongoing. So there was no way they had enough information, had evidence of enough information to be that pissed off on that day. Like, the election's only been 2 months ago. We haven't even finished the investigations. Trump still had Attorney General Barr looking into stuff. So there's no reason you should be this angry right now. You haven't gotten any proof of any of this stuff. Let's see what happens with the investigation. But Trump had them riled up, so be it.
Yeah, that's in there too. So I'm just going to leave it at that. And when I see you again, we'll talk about it. And I'd like your opinion.
Day of Rage.
All you viewers that are here now, please check out on YouTube Day of Rage.
And this video was created by obviously MAGA, right? Because you said the protesters.
Correct.
Okay. If I hear them, if I'm watching it and they're saying things that I know is not true, that's the first thing I'm going to tell you next time we talk is, here's a guy that's illustrating the video. Clearly what he's mad about is not happening, or what he's angry about did not happen. History tells us that. I mean, so let's see what they're angry about. I'll watch it, but if they're pissed off about stuff that we can now prove never took place or was never proven or never should have been said, then you're angry because somebody don't told you something that's bullshit.
No, it has nothing to do with that. It is what it is.
All right. Fair enough.
You can make your own judgment. So, Tim, it's always my pleasure. God bless you. You're doing a great job. Happy holiday, but I'm going to say it. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Dean,
because that's what it is.
Good to hear from you, Dean. Thank you for coming through. By the way, folks,
Bless you, my friend.
anytime. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to about 45,000. We can make that happen. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to smash that like button. You're watching us on Instagram, feel free to like and follow the program as well. All right, looking in the comments. Oh my God, Trump did not send a plane for Mandela. What the fuck is wrong with you? Who said Trump sent a plane for Nelson Mandela? Wow. If Trump does not lie about the 2020 election, does the so-called Day of Rage insurrection happen? No. No, it doesn't. No, that's my opinion. No, if Trump was not saying that he won by a landslide and the Democrats stole the election, none of that stuff would have happened. No. If Trump had said we're going to hold an investigation or something, because remember, January 6th was an invite. They told them to come out there. It's going to be wild. That was an invite. That was set up. That was an invite or a protest set up by the Trump administration. And of course, he and many other folks spoke at that. If Trump was not saying that, no, I don't think that would have happened. There may have been some folks that would have showed up on their own to protest, but not in those numbers. No. If you know history, you better know. If you know history, you better than to support Cheeto Pedo. I'm assuming you're not a fan of Trump. MAGA doesn't care about proof, says Dave's. All right, fair enough. Let me go back to the box. Trump did send a plane for Mandela, says Robert Kennedy. Okay, now Trump sent the plane for Mandela to do what? I haven't heard this. What is the message in this we're trying to say? Trump sent the plane for Mandela to what? Come to the United States. He didn't live here. Sent the plane for Mandela to do what? In voting history, have we ever seen 300K versus 0 for the other candidate at 3 a.m. ever? I know when Obama ran against Mitt Romney, there was an accusation like that because there were counties where they didn't have a single voter, I think around the Philadelphia area, where 100, like literally those kind of numbers you're talking about, Stevie D, where you had like 0% voting for Mitt Romney in the 2012 Romney-Obama election. And people were saying the same thing. How could it be this lopsided? Sometimes it's like that. That doesn't look, just because things look suspicious does not give anybody the right to just jump up and yell cheat. If it looks suspicious, you should yell, this looks suspicious. I want an investigation. That makes a lot more sense to just yell they cheated and we actually won. That's kind of what Trump did. Once you start doing that, that's where there's a problem. And then I've brought up many times of how he claimed fraud was taking place in states that he won. And once he won, he never complained about the fraud again. So there's a bunch of suspicious shit on both sides. That's why I say an investigation is something you can call in order, but just jumping up and yelling you won and they cheated, that's a bit much. Everything needs to be investigated, especially the 2020 stolen presidential election. Well, why are we investigating it if you're already going to make claims you won? The claim that it was stolen needs to be investigated. If you're going to make the accusation that such a crime was committed, then you have the burden of proof to show what you did. The innocent don't have to prove that they didn't steal it. You got to prove that they did. You're making the accusation. Trump never proved that. That's where the problem is. Let me go back to the box. And then, of course, I always bring up the fact that the entire Republican Party says that he lost as well. And that's a problem. Why all the Republican politicians are saying he lost too. Pure blood.
Long time no see.
Good to have you on. Pure blood. I need you to elaborate why you choose such a name. Pure blood.
Why do you think?
I don't know. I'm gonna play ignorant as hell on this one. Pure blood.
I know why you think.
I
know exactly what you think, bro.
Well, let me say it this way. You do occasionally hear people talking about pure blood, and you kind of know the nature of the people that usually use such phrases.
Yeah, what's that?
What are you gonna play ignorant? You're gonna play ignorant to all this shit?
No, you say people say it. What do they say it in context to?
If you got one drop of other in your blood, you're not pure.
Oh, that's where you went with it.
Where are you going with it?
I didn't take the vax. Got him.
Okay.
Got him.
That's a good one.
You went right to that race car, didn't you, bro? It could have been. Hey, it could have been. I'm a purebred Doberman breeder.
You got me on this one, but as I stated, you do hear that phrase throughout history, and it usually is racially oriented. But you got me by using it in terms of the vax. But usually that phrase is not used in terms of vaccines. You do realize that.
Just shows where your mindset stays, bro.
Oh shit! I mean, where else?
I get people on that all the time, bro. Everybody always goes to the hateful race, bro.
Because that's where it originated.
If you say so, it didn't originate with dog breeds or horse breeds.
But that's still race, though. If that's still kind of racially oriented.
It's nothing to do with race.
Yeah, it is. It's a certain right. It's a certain breed.
I didn't know there was black dogs, bro.
No. It's maybe you want maybe the group you want is a pit bull. Maybe you want a Chihuahua. It's still based on race. That's still kind of the same argument.
Dogs don't have. So what are you gonna say? So now dogs got race, right?
Okay.
What do you say to the dog that's half black and half white? What is that? A mix? That's a mixed race, right?
It's called a mutt, which is not a flattering term.
All right, whatever.
Is it not called a mutt?
I've never heard a dog have a race, bro. I wonder what.
Is it not called the mutt though? Bro. Is it not called the mutt?
I mean, I'm just saying. I didn't know a dog had
I get that part. I get that you don't know. You've never heard dogs having races, but I'm asking you: are mixed breed dogs called mutts? Are they called mutts?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that a flattering term for that dog?
Well, I'm not a dog. I'd have to ask my dog, man. He's a mutt. I love him to death.
You know damn well somebody call a dog a mutt. Just like they sometimes will call people mutts. That is not a good term. That's not meant to be a compliment.
Now I'm starting to learn the racist terminology for dogs, man. I appreciate it.
Anytime. So what brought you on? Maybe I can teach you a little bit more.
Hey, since my kids, my wife's Brazilian and I'm white, so they're mutts, right?
Depends on who you ask. They may qualify.
Yeah, okay. I think I got some black in me. I got to take one of them DNA tests, bro.
Might be a mutt.
I can dance, bro. I can dance.
You might be a mutt. So what brought you on, man?
No, so I don't know if you remember me back in the days, but I got banned out of this live, and I used to talk about January 6th because I went up there as an observer.
But you know I don't block ban. You'll never get banned from me.
It's all these purple hairs you got in here that are hateful.
All these mutts?
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, I'm a mutt too. I claim to be a mutt too, so I ain't really saying that. I'm just saying purple hair.
So you do believe that what he said about that whole thing? I don't want to talk about it too much because you're right. They do ban you. I don't know why, because Trump is talking about the election every day on fucking TV. Why we can't talk about it on the internet, I have no clue. But you do believe what Trump said about that election is true.
Well, I try to take a real simple stance on everything, just, not try to get too deep into stuff. But, I've never seen it started in North Carolina during the Clinton and the Trump election, right? So what happened in North Carolina is we're a weird state right now because we will elect a red president, but somehow we get a blue governor every time, and nobody's been able to really understand it, right? So what happened was during that election, there's a real liberal county here. It's called Orange County. It's where Duke University, UNC Chapel Hill, there's one other big black college in there. It's a real liberal hotbed in North Carolina, right? Okay. Orange County, notoriously left-leaning, Durham area. Whatever, typical blue city, babies being shot every day, just weird crap happening. So what happened is they voted, Trump won, but Orange County had a problem counting their votes. First time I've ever seen it happen in elections. They couldn't get their count counted. I think it took a month for them to finally get all their shit together and get all their votes counted. And all of a sudden, when it was a tight governor's race, everybody had turned in all their counts and it was neck and neck. And then boom, Orange County finally got their votes done, and boom, here we are voting for a red president, and we got this weird blue governor.
I heard that your state is heavily gerrymandered. From what I hear, North Carolina is heavily gerrymandered in favor of the Republicans, which is why they're claiming that you have blue governors and all of the lower politicians is red. I'm hearing that it is heavily In fact, they claim that your state is one of the most gerrymandered states in the union. So that could have something to do with it. I would suggest looking into that. How, because there is a large black population in your state, as you're talking about, yet most of the state is red.
Yeah, and so what happened was Orange County, they delayed their vote. They kept giving excuses, and then all of a sudden, you know, there's a blue governor, and so then here comes the election with Trump, and you know the next one, and the same thing that happened in Chapel Hill started happening in the elections, regular elections, which I've never really seen. It was like widespread. Everybody couldn't get their count. There was sewer pipes busting, videos of people stuffing ballots.
So, but what are you getting at?
People were covering up windows and not letting observers in. A lot of BS.
So, but here's but here's the problem though. Trump won that state with all of that alleged fraud you're talking about and never demanded a single investigation in that state. You didn't see it in 2000 Mules. Your state was never mentioned, even though you're in that state.
I'm not talking about my state. I'm talking about when that second election happened.
No, but
the stuff that happened in Chapel Hill started happening all over the regular elections. People they all got on the boat of, oh, we can't get our counts done anymore, which they could count better in the 1980s than they could now.
But you're not hearing what I'm saying.
Stuff like that starts happening, and you're like, you know,
you don't
want to.
If stuff like that starts happening, you demand an investigation. You don't jump up and say, I won. That's the difference, because President Trump was losing in North Carolina up to a few weeks before the 2020 election. He did win the state, but he was losing. And when he was losing, he was saying that there was widespread cheating in that state. Once he won,
I never heard that. I didn't hear that one time, but I believe you though.
Yeah, he also said when Fetterman was running against Dr. Oz, he said it was widespread cheating in Pennsylvania. And Dr. Oz came out and said, ain't nobody cheating here. I'm just losing. I mean, here's the problem. Trump comes across like the boy who cried wolf. He is not involved in any election ever where he don't claim fraud is taking place.
Right, but you know, me as a person, I don't like to get on anybody's side. I just kind of like watch stuff from the sidelines, and you know, that election. You know, I was in Washington during that. I went to all that as an observer, right? And I was sitting on the bed. I never forget it.
What did you observe? You went to January 6th as an observer?
Absolutely.
What did you observe? Give me a summary. Summarize what you observed on January 6th.
Okay. So went to the ellipse field. Well, first off, I picked up a homeboy that I knew back in high school, which I shouldn't have done because he wanted to ride up there with me. And that was a big mistake.
Okay.
Because he snored real loud and I didn't get no sleep. And first thing, 7 o'clock in the morning, I hear some gulping, like some liquid moving, right? And this mug is pouring a fifth of bourbon into a Camelback, okay? And got the Camelback tube coming out his shirt sleeve. And he's like, I'm going to see the president.
So you observing some hillbillies right now. Okay, what did you observe when you got out there, though?
So we got out there. I went to the ellipse field and it was packed. There's people hanging in the trees. There were so many people there. And I was like, well, this is a big showing, but it ain't nothing that I ain't seen anybody else do in Washington. So, but then I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to go down to that Capitol. I'm going to sit up on this 4-foot knee wall here at Pennsylvania Avenue, which is like a 5-lane road going in. And then you look down the buildings, there's another 5-lane road. And you can see about 3 of those 5-lane roads down the alley of the buildings, right?
Okay.
So after his ellipse speech, the whole field cleared out of the ellipse. And I sat on that knee wall recording for a while. And I shit you not, for 45 minutes, there was people shoulder to shoulder on those 3 5-lane roads that I could see down that building line, marching into that place that didn't even come for his speech. It was so many people. I have never seen that many people in my 50-something years.
And I don't doubt that could have happened, because I say this all the time when MAGA suggests that it can't be an insurrection because nobody had weapons. I bring that up is that he said, let's go to the Capitol building. You don't know who could have joined that march, because there's 2 miles between where he spoke and where that building. You don't know who else could have joined in that crowd. There's absolutely no way to be definitive and say that there were no weapons or anything in that crowd. You don't know who joined in it. Nobody's been searched.
Yeah,
you don't know who these people are.
Yeah, but you guys in that insurrection shit is funny, man. I mean, if there's an armed insurrection,
why does it have to be armed?
You don't even understand. You guys don't even understand what an armed insurrection.
Why does it have to be armed?
Well, if you go in there, I'm just saying, everybody, that's what you're saying.
No, nobody is claiming it was an armed insurrection. They just said it's an insurrection. It doesn't have, you got overwhelming numbers.
Armed insurrection.
Huh?
I thought you just said it was an armed insurrection.
I didn't say that. I said it could have been. I said because ain't nobody been patted down. What?
Why would the media say that police officer died on this? There was dead cops at that venue.
Same reason you guys suggested that Ray Epps led everything or BLM. People were making up shit to play teams. That was the mainstream media and all the liberals. Everybody. You had a hell of a lot of people. You had a hell of a lot of people on the right that have said it was orchestrated by BLM. Judge Janine Pirro said it was Antifa that did it. Some of you guys blamed it on Ray Epps. Others blamed it on the FBI. You guys did a lot of that stuff.
Well, when it come down, when all the dust settled, right? No cops died. The only person I saw get rushed out of there was Ashley Babbitt. The pipe bomber was a liberal. There was 200.
How do you know that? How do you know he was liberal?
That's what they're saying.
Who is they? Who are they?
The news.
I've never heard the news. So this guy was a card-carrying Democrat.
Well, he was a young black guy.
What does that mean?
Well, how many MAGAs, do you see out there with pipe bombs, going off?
But I'm trying to figure out where the liberal part comes in. Just because he's young and black, he has to be liberal?
I have to research it. I'm just going on what I've seen on the media. He was a left-leaning black man.
How do you know he leaned left?
Well, that's what they're reporting. So maybe we need to let the dust settle.
Yeah, you gotta let the dust settle, because I haven't seen anything.
The typical MAGA Republican is not a young black man.
Why is that? Why do you think that? Why do you think that? Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is?
Let's get it together there. Let's think about that for a minute.
Help me out. Why do you think that is?
Well, I see one. There's one dude that is highly outspoken on TikTok, a Terrence something. He's about the only one I know.
But why do you believe?
What do you think would happen? What do you think would happen if you were a MAGA doing this in the name of MAGA? What do you think would happen with the people on the left and the people of your color? What do you think you're going to get? What do you think Terrence Williams gets when he goes up there and proclaims MAGA?
Who cares? I've been to a couple of Trump rallies. Who cares what they think?
But what do you think's going to happen? Like, why you're asking me a question of why isn't there more outspoken black men for MAGA?
Right, I'm asking.
Who wants to be that guy, bro? Y'all are violent. You dox. You attack people. You slander people. The left is the most nastiest people when they don't like you. Who wants to do that?
What
black guy would want to do that?
You kind of sound like Marjorie Taylor Greene describing your own party, getting doxxed, all the threats.
I just got flagged.
I bet we better move it on. They don't like us. I would love to talk to you about this a lot more, but for some reason,
that's what they do. That's what y'all do, man.
Now wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. This app was owned by China. Trump stopped that. This app is controlled by Trump.
I'm not talking about the app makers. I'm just talking about your crowd, man. I came in here and I tried to talk honest and calm last time, and I got banned from TikTok. It's been like a year till I could come back.
Damn. All right, well, I'll drop you. I don't want you can come back anytime. Listen, I don't want you to lose your app.
I don't care, man. I mean, it's not a big deal to me. I'd rather sit on here and talk. You know, if I get banned, so be it.
Let me tell it to you this way. Come, because I'm on the Handsome Liberal on Instagram. If you got Instagram, because they won't do that to you on Instagram. We'll be able to talk in much more detail without all the bullshit. Cool. Yeah, Instagram.
And I appreciate you. I always have, man. You know, you got a cool head. You're out in those high waters, bro, and I appreciate you.
Anytime, man. We don't agree on shit, but you're always welcome back. I love you, man. Anytime. Appreciate it, man. All right, that is Pure Blood. Tap the screen, by the way, folks. Get the lights on up to 60,000. See, I would like to be able to have conversations on controversial topics of that nature without the app taking you down. For some reason, it's only TikTok. We can talk like this on YouTube. We can certainly do it on Instagram. I believe even Facebook. For some reason, TikTok's AI is really heavy on the censor stuff. You talk about the LGBTQ stuff. You talk about the election. I don't know if pregnancy termination. We don't have a lot of conversations on that, but I believe that's another one. Which is why you hear people using phrases like unalive and YT people and all this crazy shit. It's because the censorship is off the chain. I don't know why that is. The president talks about this stuff on TV every damn day. It's almost to the point where you can't even play his speech because TikTok will censor it. We're not talking about it. We're not saying anything that the president hasn't said a million times already. Anyway, looking in the comments, Jesus needs to help that man, says Dean. You're saying Jesus needs to help my last caller? Wow. It's because the people are overly sensitive, says Handsome Conservative. Who are the people, though? Because Trump saved TikTok from going down. Remember, it was a Chinese app. It was going to go down. Trump saved it. My guess is Trump saved the app and is starting to slowly but surely put in his desired type of censorship. I listen, a lot of folks believe that the liberals are the only ones that are involved in cancel culture. That is flat out false. Trump will cancel you too. Trump will cancel you too. That's why you hear him talking about Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel and CNN and shit like that. He wants to do an MSNBC, but for the right. Like CNN, they're talking about changing the programming at CNN now that it's likely to be owned by one of Trump's buddies. That network is and CBS as well. Those networks are going to go sharply to the right. They're not going to be fair and balanced all of a sudden. They're going to just go the other way. That is not delivering news fairly. That's just delivering news that favors you. You didn't like when the liberals are doing it, so you're just going to take it over and do it the other way. Then it's just as fake and wrong. Anyway, looking in the comments, TikTok is for lonely women to complain about, to complain and wild stuff. No, Chiwi, there's not a lot of women on. Well, I guess there is some. I mean, there's plenty of people. He says TikTok is for lonely women to complain and wild stuff. No, there's a lot more going on in that. You're kidding, right? You guys blame Trump for everything. Ha ha. Well, Leroy, it's crazy how MAGA suggested Trump gets blamed for everything. Yet every time you hear Trump speak, he's blaming Biden for everything or Obama for everything. It's as if blaming somebody is wrong when it comes to doing it to Trump. But Biden has been out of office almost a year, and Trump is still, every time Trump gets a microphone in front of his face, he's blaming Biden for something. He's even blaming Biden for the tariff-based economy. The economy is Trump's at this point. The tariffs and all of that shit where Biden had nothing to do with, this is his economy now. He's blaming Biden for it. Let me go back to the box. It says, One Dog Ruff says, Tim is a cool guy. Appreciate that. Thank you. We'll go back to the box. We'll go to Dencal. Good evening, Dencal. Welcome to the program. I'm in the trenches today, but it's always good to have Dencal on. If it brings them up, maybe not. I don't know what's going on here. Let me see if I can make sure. Am I buffering? Okay, it didn't bring up Dencal. And we'll give it a minute here. I think I'm having some trouble with the box. We'll try it again. We'll go to MAGA Reacts. Let's see if that works. Good evening, MAGA Reacts. There you go. Good evening.
Hey, what's up?
Now I'm roughing it today, man. TikTok is trying to censor my game. I don't like that. But what brought you on today? Because we're talking about everything from Mike Lindell talking about running for governor. I'm trying to figure this one out, though. We've seen Trump blow up the boats off the coast of Venezuela, but now he is seizing oil tankers. Why wouldn't he blow the oil tanker up?
It'll be an environmental disaster if he does.
You don't think
Water.
dumping a bunch of fentanyl in the oceans or whatever that's not an environmental disaster?
That was like a drop of fentanyl versus how much oil was in that tanker.
I thought a drop of fentanyl could kill 20,000 men, according to Trump.
Yeah, but not when you mix it with 1 million gallons of water, 1 billion gallons of water.
What are you, a chemist now? So you can dilute it?
It's just common sense.
And
yeah, that tanker probably had so much oil, it would probably kill all the fish. I doubt that fentanyl will even reach any of it. Even if it kills a few fish, it wouldn't be as bad as a fucking tanker full of oil in the ocean.
I don't know. If you got a few kilos of fentanyl and you blow that up, I would assume that would be, considering how little of that stuff is deadly, even if you mix it in water, a large portion of the ocean for a little while, wouldn't that be quite harmful?
I doubt it. Well, you're not a chemist either, so I don't know why we're even talking about this.
It doesn't. I don't know. Why not take the boats into custody and prevent even trying to figure out the chemistry experiment?
I don't know. We could talk about that all day. But at least, you're admitting they're drug boats, which is the important part.
Well,
and
I'm starting to see
a small boat worth. I think one of the boats did have like gasoline on it, and he blew that up, no problem.
Well, let's be clear. Any of these boats that are going to make a 1,700 mile journey, which is what the Trump administration is claiming, they all got to have a significant amount of fuel on them. Because these boats are.
I think one of the boats had fuel for the other boats for the like refueling area or something.
Like a mothership. Like a mothership.
No, just like one of those refueling airplanes that you see refueling the jets. You take a bunch of oil, you put it on some random island in the middle of the Caribbean, and everyone goes there to fill up midway.
So he blew up one of the refueling boats.
Yeah.
And that's not bad for the environment? And that's not bad for the environment? Put a bunch of gasoline in the ocean?
Not as bad as a giant oil tank.
Yeah, but is it bad? I mean, we're not comparing, but is that not a bad thing to do?
Not really, especially if it's gasoline, because it'll just evaporate, if anything.
If you just dump a bunch of gasoline in the ocean, it'll just evaporate and won't harm anything.
I don't know. Again, I'm not a chemist, but from my experience, gasoline usually evaporates, and especially like a small amount of it like that. I don't know about an oil tanker full of gasoline.
I mean, you're saying that this boat was a refueling boat, so it carried enough gasoline for other boats willing to make a 1,700 mile journey to come to it and fill up. So that's a lot of gasoline that is on this boat. And you're saying dumping that into the ocean, it'll just evaporate.
Yeah, again, you're comparing a small 50-foot boat to a giant oil tanker. Like whatever you have in the oil tanker, if it gets spilled in the ocean, will cause a lot more harm than that tiny boat.
I'm not disagreeing it'll cause a lot more harm, but it would seem that a boat carrying that much gas, that much fuel could cause significant harm. Maybe not as much as an oil tanker. Let's say it's only 1/5 of what the oil tanker. I mean, that's still a lot of harm to the environment.
Again, I'm not an expert. I'm not, what's his name, Walter White. So I can't tell you the effect of gas in the ocean and the difference between gas and oil as far as polluting the ocean.
Do you think blowing it up is the right choice to make?
The big boat? No, obviously you shouldn't.
No, I mean the smaller boats even.
I could see the difficulties in trying to catch it, especially when you're in a jet.
How would it be difficult to catch a boat in open water? I mean, you got all kinds of options. We got bases, we can launch helicopters to catch up with that thing with ease. You got all kinds of options to catch. You got hundreds of miles of sea ahead of it. Plenty of time to catch up with that. You don't have to worry about, I mean, a helicopter could easily catch up with that.
Yeah, but a helicopter could land on an oil tanker. It's a lot easier to catch an oil tanker. That thing moves slow.
Well, when you look at a go fast boat in when you look at a go fast boat in comparison to a Black Hawk, it's going pretty slow too. I mean, those boats probably
Where's the Black Hawk gonna land?
doesn't have to land. It's going to take off, go out to sea 100 miles or so, whatever it takes, disable the damn boat, go back. If you want to send somebody else out there to get them, but you don't have to kill them is the point I'm making. You can disable that boat and leave it floating at sea. That's not hard to do.
I kind of, like I said, I'm 50-50 when it comes to that. They should have disabled it.
So in other words, they're just literally choosing to kill that they will kill when they don't have to kill.
I don't know why they're doing it. Maybe it's part of whatever law they're using to do it. It could be a million reasons. I don't know them.
I would sure love to hear why this administration is the first administration in American history to kill drug dealers on site. It's never been done before. So what law are they using? We ain't never done it before.
I don't think we've ever intercepted them in deep ocean like
The
this.
hell we haven't. You're in Miami.
Yeah, the Coast Guard does it off our waters. That's within our waters.
Yeah, but if they're allegedly heading to America with drugs, then wait till they get here and do the same damn thing.
That's a possibility, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the whole story. I don't know where those drugs, how they enter the country. I don't know if it's harder to catch once they get passed off to the next person. I don't know the whole story. I just know they're drug boats, and I'm okay with them being stopped in the middle of the ocean. And there's no Coast Guard in the middle of the ocean.
You're okay with them being stopped. Are you okay with them being killed?
Like I said, I'm 50-50. Some days I'm like, fuck them.
What if you found out that they? What if you found out that they were indeed carrying harmful narcotics, but they had no intentions of bringing it to America? Would you still support America's intervention?
Yeah, that wouldn't change my mind. As long as they're stopping narcotics, that's fine with me. Especially like fentanyl-laced narcotics. Maybe if it was just coke and they had no intention of ever mixing it with anything else, I'd be okay with it. But the fact that fentanyl is being mixed into everything and killing so many people, including people that I know,
I actually, and that's where the problem is, MAGA. I believe the boats are carrying drugs, but I don't believe it's fentanyl. I think the first boat, they're saying that there are some independents or some Democrat congressmen that are now admitting that boat had drugs on. They're saying it's cocaine. I don't think most of those boats are carrying fentanyl. Venezuela's not known for producing that drug. I don't think it's fentanyl.
The problem is it's eventually mixed with fentanyl. Like, to get pure cocaine is almost impossible as far as I know.
Yeah, but you're telling people it's fentanyl. You're not telling people that it's cocaine that's going to be eventually mixed somewhere else, because if it's going to eventually be mixed with fentanyl, then you've killed the cocaine. The fentanyl's still out there. Then you haven't even done what you're telling people you've done. You haven't stopped any fentanyl.
You're stopping fentanyl from being ingested by stopping the cocaine they mix it with. So if my friend him and his girlfriend didn't buy cocaine that day and it was laced with fentanyl and killed them, they would still be alive. I mean, they had no intention.
Venezuela's not even the cocaine capital as well. You could take Venezuela off the map and there will still be plenty of coke and fentanyl in this country. That is not the place to go. If you want to stop those two narcotics from coming into America, Venezuela is not the place to even do that shit. That's not where it's coming from. To me, taking Venezuela out is like coming in a house with a cup full of salt water, talking about you took some salt water out of the sea. It's plenty more left. You're not going to make any dent in America's cocaine and fentanyl ingestion by taking out Venezuela. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, no, I know that the war on drug is futile, but I'm also not okay with them just freely being able to cross those waters with no worry whatsoever. I don't want them free to just cross the water whenever they want.
Dencal wants to speak to you. Are you okay with the guest coming up?
Yeah, as long as you give me some time after. I don't want it to be the end of the talk.
He's a civilized guest, but I'm curious what he's hearing you say that is drawing his attention. Dencal, good evening.
Yes.
What is he getting something wrong?
Yeah, I just wanted to
Yeah, I just want to talk to him about like what happens when American, narcotics operations happen in the Caribbean and all of that stuff. Like we've been doing this shit for years. Like there situation where we look at these people where we trying to capture the product and stop it to where we say we just gonna murder everybody. That's just not how it happens.
You got cut off. Why do
you think that it's over?
Can you repeat that? Because
your signal went out. Didn't care. Repeat it. You dropped out a little bit.
Yeah, I was saying like we have a process where we go through. We're trying to stop these illegal substances from coming to America. Nobody says we could, but nobody says we just gonna go ahead and just murder everybody. We don't do that.
I guess that's the new sheriff in town way now, though.
The problem is the last 4 years we've been so lenient on these drug dealers that the pendulum has to swing the other way.
Lenient? What's your definition of lenient?
4 years.
What's your definition of lenient, by the way?
If people are crossing the ocean, not trying to hide what they're doing whatsoever. The drugs are out there in the open for everybody to see just by flying.
Right, because we can't stop people. We can't stop people from boiling up some dope inside their house 3,000 miles away. What do you mean? They doing something. They're not doing anything different than they've been doing.
Okay, would you be cool with people doing cocaine in the middle of the street where everybody could see them in the middle of a park? And you're saying, hey, they're not harming anyone. They're just doing.
They've been doing that in American cities across the country for decades. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but the problem is when it becomes a problem because they're not even scared to do it. You have to, increase enforcement.
What? Kill them? You have to kill them?
They should do it I don't know about kill them, but at least just scare them so they do it at home instead of the middle.
Oh, how do you scare a crackhead?
I don't know, my friend. Letting them crack in the middle of
I know you don't know because I know that you don't understand. You have no idea.
You're not gonna scare somebody that is trying to.
The situation that we're dealing with.
Yeah, I'm going to say when somebody is hooked on narcotics, that literally is like medicine to stop them from dying. You're not going to scare them from taking something that they're going to have the shakes and possibly die if they don't get. You're not going to scare them out of it at that point.
I guess, but we are going to just let them do it wherever they like. Why do we even have laws against that then? If we're not going to enforce the laws, having drugs in the middle of the ocean is still illegal.
Well, you can't. You can.
What you're talking about is different than what we're dealing with internally.
What do you mean? What we're talking about is these people have gotten so comfortable with transporting their drugs that they don't even hide it.
We can deal with things differently. Look, I've been on these situations. I've actually been. Mago. I've been in these situations. I've been on the boats. I've dealt with these cartel members. I understand what's going on. You do not. You cannot just say from your perch sitting at home saying what people are supposed to do and how do we stop drugs. The way that you cannot bomb people into abstinence. If people are taking drugs, you have to go into root cause. You can't say, well, we could just start shooting them in international waters and then the problem is going to be solved in America. It's not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is going to solve the problem. And like I said before, I'm 50-50 on killing them. But they need to be stopped.
No, you can't be 50-50 on killing people, dude.
Why not?
You can't. You can't be 50-50. We talk in this country about being Christian and about being this and that. You can't just be like if we just kill a bunch of people, we can stop them from doing. No, these addicts are killing themselves.
But we're not
You
talking about the
can't-
addicts. We're talking about the drug dealers in the middle of the ocean bringing the
you
stuff.
gotta
with
deal with
no
root
fear of God.
cause.
But hold on, hang on a second.
You
But
gotta deal with root cause.
But MAGA, I do want to reiterate what he said when he said these drug users are killing themselves. That's the point I often make, is that nobody is being pinned down and forced to ingest fentanyl. You're trying to stop people from doing something that they want to do. It ain't, the problem is not with the people bringing the stuff here. These people want it. So even if you try to stop folks from bringing it here, just like with guns, if you ban guns, they'll find another way. Same thing. If a person really wants to get their hand on some drugs, you understand this with the Second Amendment, that if they really want to get a gun, they'll always be able to find one. I don't know why you don't seem to see that same logic when it comes to narcotics.
Because I've seen narcotics disappear from the market and people not, quit because they can't get them.
When did that happen?
No, you haven't. No, you haven't.
A
That's
lot.
lie.
Listen, I used to own a pain management clinic, and a lot of my patients, some who became friends with me,
And you sound like you have been part of the problem. You have been benefiting. If you're a pain management, you have a pain
I was
management
100 years
situation.
ago, but
That means you've been
let me-
giving government money.
You've
What?
seen
That's not
drugs
government money.
disappear from the market?
I've seen users that used to get the pain pills regularly. Once they couldn't get them anymore, they just completely stopped.
No, they started using heroin. That's what happened during the opioid
Some of them
crisis.
did. Some of them did, and you're correct. And that was a lot worse than the pills that
Right.
But also,
And you've
some
been
of them just quit
benefiting
and
off
are
of these
normal
people
people.
all of this time.
what's up?
Mega Reacts, you a piece of shit, dude.
Oh, come on, Dick Cal. Be nice to the guests. Wait a minute.
So
Wait a
first of
minute.
all, back then in 2005
He
to 09, we had no idea how bad
He
these drugs
benefited
were.
by people being. Oh my goodness! He been benefiting.
Look, you're
by
using
people being
hindsight to
addicted
judge me,
to
which is something
substances.
you use a lot. You're using hindsight.
No, I
'Cause
understand.
You know a lot of
I
shit
understand.
now that we
Look,
didn't
I
know back
understand.
then.
Like, yes, I was a big piece of shit. I was out there moving illegal. I get it. I understand that, but I wouldn't do it no more. And I understand that. And I don't blame the people that were addicted. I don't do that. I blame myself.
No, and we thought we were helping these people. A lot of the times, and we did help some
you're
people.
not
I've
helping.
seen some people
No,
that
you're
were
not
affected
helping no
positively.
addicts, dude. You're not helping addicts, dude.
They were regular people. Some of them were regular people with legitimate pain, and the medication helped them. And when the medication was impossible to get, they just stopped because they're
Okay,
not addicts.
okay, Mega
looking
Reacts.
for
Did
high.
you
They're
just see?
people trying
Did
to
you
solve
just
their
see?
problems.
Mega Reacts. Did you just see the court case when the people who developed the Oxy product and everything, and they got sued and they ended up losing the suit, but they were responsible for billions of dollars because they had pushed all of that Oxy stuff on regular people in the United States.
It's because they never informed us how addictive it was. And even the DEA, we used to
No
beg the
shit.
DEA to tell us.
They knew it was
Yeah.
addictive.
It's
and
just-
they
I
sold
mean-
it to us anyway.
Yeah, the thing about it is we live in
They
it.
did,
The
but
thing
we
about
didn't.
it is that's a product of capitalism. If it comes to if I can sell you a harmful substance and convince you that it's not harmful and the law don't stop me from doing it, I mean that food, we can talk about tobacco, we can talk about coal. I mean, that's been happening over and over again. Like you're talking about the opioids. People have been making money promoting unhealthy substances on the population, and they're doing it because they make money and they try to basically prevent the government from stopping them or regulating them or whatever. That's been happening from the beginning of time. The opioid crisis is just yet another one of those. I mean, look how long Big Tobacco tried to tell you tobacco wasn't harmful. So you're never going to.
And it wasn't coke. It was these synthetic drugs that were made in a lab.
Okay, but my point is the government stepped up, stopped the pain clinics, and from that,
No,
we
they
had a huge
didn't,
change.
dude. People are dying every day off of opioids.
It's
and
not
all
like
of
it
this
was
stuff.
before.
What do you mean they stopped?
They have-
Nobody
they have-
stopped
And they're
shit.
dying because they're getting fentanyl and not pharmaceutical
I don't know.
medication.
It's not from Venezuela, dude.
But didn't care. I gotta kind of take MAGA side on this. The opioid crisis has been greatly reduced, has it not?
You know?
I don't know. Have you looked at the opioid deaths?
Like what
I mean,
how was it
I mean, they're holding
Opioid.
holding the physicians accountable for their prescriptions at this point. Like I had two.
No, they not. How many doctors do you know that have been went to jail because they pushed this stuff out into the
They're not going to go to jail, but
I
they
know
open
a few.
themselves up to lawsuits and stuff. I'll give you an example. About 10, 12 years ago, I had a molar and a wisdom tooth removed, and they prescribed me hydrocodone for the pain. They gave me a prescription of 30 that I could renew twice. That means I could have got 90 hydrocodone for 2 teeth.
Right.
I took two.
You could have hooked up, and I could have figured out.
Yeah, that kind of happened, but that kind of happened anyway. But no, I took 2 Tylenol. I never took one of them. So they had you can't do that as a physician now. If you get caught giving somebody 90 of these pills for 2 teeth removed where the pain is almost gone the next damn day, you get in trouble for that. They weren't getting in trouble for doing that stuff back then.
Yeah, we didn't have the rules that are there today. We could only prescribe 3, like for a situation like what you said, we can only do 3 days at a time, 72 hours. And then
So
on top of that, we had no system
I
built up
understand
for
what you're
people.
saying, but what I could tell you is that me as a family man, like when my children, you know, my kids, my wife, we go through procedures or whatever, and then they prescribe some stuff, and they'd be like, oh yeah, you can prescribe this to my 16-year-old child. They prescribed it. I take it and I say, no, you're not gonna take this.
Like,
And guess what I do?
we're getting our point. The whole point is you should never give up just because it seems hopeless. You should at least try. And they did try,
Right, but
in a lot of
you're-
ways they
no,
improved
the
things.
only
I don't.
thing I'm
Well,
saying
in
to
regards
you,
to the notion that we
Michael,
should
the
try,
only thing I'm saying to you, Michael Reacts, is that while we talking this stuff together about what we should and should not do, we're okay with us using military bombs to attack people who have no idea of our situation in this country.
and I would add before you respond, MAGA, with him pardoning that drug kingpin, does that make sense to you that we're actually dealing with a drug war? That he would pardon a drug kingpin who was given a 45-year sentence, and he pardoned the guy only a year in his sentence? Does that make sense in the middle of a drug? If you really are concerned with drugs, you would pardon the guy who pumped, I think they said 400 tons of coke into this country. How, explain that. What is your? What is?
No, it makes no sense to me
And then he
either.
said,
I don't know all the facts of that story, though.
you don't have to know.
Right. What
in
else?
the hell
What
all
other
time
facts
you
are you
gotta say,
expecting? Yeah,
I
what-
don't know the facts. I don't know the facts. What the facts that you know is that the dude who had went to American courts and got convicted, and then he said he was trying to shove 40 tons of coke into the American.
So,
No.
let's give you some time. Based on the facts you have given me, I 100% agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I think Trump should have not done that.
No. Bagger Reacts. This kingpin said years ago, before we even knew anything about this, the people that went to the court and everything, they said he told us he was trying to shove 40 tons of coke into the noses of American people. And your guy let him go.
Yeah, and I agree with you. He shouldn't have. And hopefully he
No.
reasons,
You can't just be like, well, he shouldn't have. Dude,
It hurts the
that
credit.
guy
Yeah.
was responsible
I mean,
for.
Obama armed the same cartel members that are doing the same shit.
Obama. Don't do it.
And I don't think he should have done that
Don't
either.
do it. We're talking about a guy just last week. He released one of the most lethal drug dealers in the history of the fucking world. And you talking about, well, Obama's
You don't think the cartel that Obama armed are not just?
Listen, I gotta move it on.
He didn't.
I gotta move it on, but I'll just say this: bringing up Obama's not a defense for Trump. If Obama fucked up,
No, I'm
Obama
not trying to
fucked up.
defend Trump.
But bringing up
What's wrong with this?
Obama and what something Obama did is not a defense for Trump. Fact is, Trump is claiming to be in the middle of a drug war and pardon the drug kingpin in the middle of that war. Even you're admitting it doesn't make sense. You're claiming you don't know the facts. Fair enough, but you're admitting from what you do know. Even you, it makes no sense whatsoever. to pardon a drug
Yeah, that's
kingpin in the
the
middle
end
of a
it. I
drug
don't know
war.
what Denkal kept going to shame me into something, but I'm like, I agree with you. What else do you
because
want
I gotta
from me?
keep pushing you. I gotta keep pushing
Push
you
me
because
for what?
you don't accept regular like information. You need more and more.
I accepted
and
your
more, and I'm here to
information.
give
You
it
kept
to you.
repeating yourself.
All right. Well, gentlemen, I do got to move the show on.
I agreed with you, and you keep going. Like, what else do you want from me?
All right. We want you to admit it makes sense what you
You're
did.
fucking wrong is what I want you to admit.
All right, gentlemen, I got to move it on. All right. Appreciate y'all coming through. And moving on with the show. By the way, tap the screen, get us on up to wow, somebody's been doing some good. Thank you. Tap the screen, get us on up over that 100,000 mark. We want you to learn empathy, is what Sherbert is saying. Yeah, look, here's what I would say. And I get hammered by liberals all the time for giving Trump credit for things that the liberals don't want me to give. I want folks just to be able to give credit and criticism to both sides if you clearly see it. What Trump is doing is worthy of criticism from MAGA. You have no credibility in a drug war if you just pardon a drug kingpin. MAGA, when I say MAGA, I'm not talking about my last caller. I'm talking about MAGA in general. I'm talking about Trump supporters in general. They're not criticizing Trump for pardoning a drug kingpin. I had a guest on earlier talking about, how many people get out of jail, they get slaps on the wrist and they don't get punished properly. And I said, Trump is pardoning major criminals like every week. We talk about, the guy who took out Lincoln Riley or the guy who took out the Ukrainian immigrant on the subway. This guy was a drug kingpin. 400 tons of cocaine he sent. Can you imagine how many people lost their lives, whether through sniffing his product, fighting over blocks and territories, rising in the ranks? Can you imagine how much death that dude is responsible for? Trump pardoned him. So when you hear people talking about this Somali fraudster that got out and shouldn't have got out, the liberals are soft on crime. He pardoned the kingpin. There is no legitimacy to that. And now some folks will say, well, maybe the kingpin was working on behalf of the government and he's a snitch. He's at the top of the fucking ladder. Who is he going to snitch on? He's at the top. He's a president of Honduras. This was a former president of the Honduras. Trump pardoned the dude. Sentence, Trump pardoned him after only a year in jail. Even if you snitch, they don't cut your sentence like that. Even if you snitch, you don't get that much fucking time off. He shaved over 43 years off of a 45-year sentence. That dude bought his way out. I don't think there's any other way to look at that. That dude bought his way out of jail. Somebody associated with Trump, related with Trump, friends with somebody got paid behind that. And if you're fair, I'm talking to my beloved MAGA, if you are fair, you know damn well you would say the same thing if Obama or Biden pardoned somebody like that. Somebody got paid behind that. That dude is responsible for a hell of a lot of Americans losing their lives in being addicted to narcotics and all of that shit. And Trump pardoned him. Tough on crime, huh? Anyway, looking in the comments, handsome sticky fingers, handsome something fingers there, handsome evil fingers. This is the true definition of how ignorant MAGA is and MAGA reactions. It's a wonderful life. I'm gonna leave that one alone. Oh my God. Real quick in the comments before we move on with the program. Sit laughing disco. Thank you for that. Paulo Futura. Thank you. Tap the screen, get the lights on up. This is indeed uncensored programming. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone on this program. Didn't Cal 8 lost? Shit, I want to see cuz face. What are you saying there, Tay? Before we go on to the next guest, can we talk about Diddy and his black on black crimes? One thing I will say about Diddy, at least he is in jail. I don't know. It's hard. I don't want to get too deep into Diddy, but I'm on the wrong side of that, I think, because I believe the man got railroaded. When you look at what he was charged with versus what he was convicted of versus how much time he's gotten, I think the guy got railroaded. I think he beat the charges that should have came with some severe prison time. For what he was convicted of, which was basically crossing state lines to solicit prostitution, I think he's already should have been time served. I know he's on video beating the hell out of people. I've seen the documentary and all of that stuff. He sounds like an evil guy. Not saying the guy was a great guy. I'm saying he wasn't charged or convicted with that shit. Very similar to O.J. Simpson in Nevada. O.J. Simpson got railroaded in Nevada because he got away with what he did in California. That's not how justice is supposed to work. And that's what MAGA often tries to say on Trump, is that they're going at him for shit, you know, whatever. But I do believe that O.J. Simpson got railroaded too. But I think that he got railroaded. All of the evil stuff they claim, he wasn't charged with any of that stuff. He was charged with soliciting a prostitute across state lines. If he had simply done that in state, he would just got a simple prostitution charge. But because he called a hoe in another state, or in this case, a male escort, whatever it was in a different state, that person came to him, he paid for him to fly there, and they performed consensual sex, and that's it. It's prostitution. Guy shouldn't be getting 4 years for that. MAGA in general is undead. Is water underneath the bridge after Erica Kirk, JD Vance, and the Epstein files. The true MAGA will be just great, America only, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Okay, that's a mouthful. Let me see if I can break that down. You says MAGA in general is undead. I don't know what you mean by that. It said there's water underneath the bridge after Erica Kirk and JD Vance. So are you suggesting that Erica Kirk and JD Vance is a couple now? And the Epstein files, the true MAGA will just great, America only, Marjorie Taylor. I don't quite get what you're saying there, Hanson. There's a lot there. But looking in the comments here, there's a photo of a rapist on your wall. What are you suggesting, that Trump done sexually assaulted somebody and took their innocence? There's no proof of that. MAGA will bend over for Trump. There is some proof of that. Let me go back to the box, continue on with the program. I'll go ahead and jump in the water face first. Gangsta Grandma.
I can't stand your ugly black ass. Here you go, fluffing for Diddy. Oh, Diddy did it. Oh, Diddy got railroaded. Shut the fuck up.
Diddy got railroaded.
Oh, don't shut the fuck up.
Diddy got railroaded. I stand by that.
No, he did not.
Yes,
Shut
he
the
did.
fuck
Yes,
up.
he did.
And then you said that there's no proof about Trump being a rapist. Well, let's talk about it, you uneducated fucking moron. Did you just see the pics that came out? And him all up on the white girls? Did you see that?
That's not a conviction. Those, and by the way, those
shut the fuck up.
Those
you know
pics.
what? No. Let me tell you something. This is why we can't stand you ugly fucking goddamn ass. I can't, because you're always on the rapist side. You know, well, there ain't no proof. Oh, there's a hell of a lot of proof.
Those
it's
pics.
right there. Proof is in the pudding. Proof is in the pudding.
Those pics of Trump were with adult women that were obviously there voluntarily.
No. Some of those were not.
Even that.
Not adults.
I don't know.
Some of those were not adults. No.
There is
There
no.
was not.
There is no proof that President Trump violated the innocence of some kid. There's no proof of that.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Are you that fucking stupid, Tim? Are you that stupid? Let me tell you something, Tim. Let me tell you something, Tim. If that was one of your goddamn kids, where you say the same goddamn thing, what if that was your fucking little girl that was being raped by fucking these damn assholes? What would you say? Well, there's no proof. There's no proof. You're a fucking damn. Oh God!
And
if
I go-
didn't like your ass, I would have called you the fucking B word, and you go to fucking hell. I really would, because you're a damn disgusting disgrace of a fucking human being.
Look, you don't have to be a supporter of Trump or a hater of Trump to admit there is no proof that he took the innocence of a child. There is no proof of
You
that.
don't. Are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Hey, the women even said it. They took a plane. Are you fucking? You know what, Tim? I swear to God.
No.
I can't. You are. You know what? You. I won't even leave my kid with you then. If you out here, up there, if you up here standing on God, saying that there's no proof, and those motherfuckers got proof, and they're in the damn files, and every day it's leaking fucking files, I wouldn't want your ass to be around my kid.
Right.
'Cause you're giving them excuses. There's no proof. There's no proof. There's no proof. There is proof.
Right now, there is nothing but a bunch of allegations against Trump.
You know what, Tim? I swear to God, Tim. I swear to God. It's going to come out that he did it. And he did do it. Why do you
Maybe.
think he's not?
Maybe.
Why do you think he's nuts? Why do you think he is fighting every time there's things coming out? He's trying to fight it and fight it. Why, Tim?
I'm willing.
Why, Tim?
You want me to answer or you want to talk over me? I'm willing to admit his activity looks suspicious as fuck, but that doesn't equate to proof. What he is doing looks suspicious.
You know what, Tim? I shit you not. You know what? That's why women will pick a bear. Women will pick a fucking bear over you dumb fucks.
Until they get
you will ride to death with a rapist. And that's why we don't want you fucking sorry asses no more. That's why we don't want you.
I'm just gonna be.
That's why we'll pick a bear any day of the fucking week over sorry ass men like you.
Okay. Next time somebody's breaking in your house at night and you want to have kids, go with the bear. Let me just tell you this.
I got a gun, honey. I got a gun.
Okay.
I blow their fucking heads off.
All right.
I ain't joking with you motherfuckers. I will. I'm not done with you fucking men. Because you're over here saying, oh, there's no proof. And there is proof. The women stood up
There's
on
not
and said they took a plane with him.
The women made allegations that Trump violated them. That is not proof. That's an allegation. And by the way, I'm going to say something.
An innocent man will release the files.
I'm going to say something.
Man will not.
I'm going to say something that you're really not going to like. In addition to saying they don't have any proof, I'm going to also tell you this: is women lie as well. Women don't always tell the truth.
Hell no, Tim.
There are.
I'm fixing to cancel your fucking black ass. I'm fixing to cancel you. You think they lied?
You know.
You think the kids lied?
You ever heard of
Are
it?
you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? You think the girls fucking lied?
I didn't say that. I'm saying women do
You
lie.
make me sick. You honest to God make me fucking sick.
You ever heard of the Duke rape case on the lacrosse players?
We're not talking about Duke, you son of a bitch.
We're
talking about fucking Trump.
We're talking about
and the FC files. We're not talking about nobody else. We're talking about Trump. And you over here say, oh, they could be lying? Are you fucking serious, dude?
I'm saying that without.
Wow, you're a whole bitch, man. I said it, bitch. You're a whole bitch. Your mama should have aborted you. You're the waste of a fucking nut.
Okay.
No, that's not no laughing fucking matter. You over here saying now, oh, they could have lied?
I'm going to.
Bring the women up on the bitch, man, and tell them to their face they fucking lied.
What? You give me a woman that tells me all women that make accusations are telling the truth. Is that what you're saying? That they never lie?
That's why SA people, SA win victims come up. Because some people like you are a son of a bitch.
I don't even believe Robin Givens what she said about Mike Tyson. Some women are not honest.
Yeah, she did. And he did. You fucking, that is a little percentage, you sorry son of a bitch, that fucking lie. A little percentage. But a lot of us didn't lie, you sorry bitch. And you know what? A lot of us had to go through the court system and get wrung out like we was hoes and fucking men like you. You are sorry, you're scum. You're scum.
I think you fail to realize how many men also get railroaded by the system because somebody lied on them as well. You do realize there's a
Dan, you are a scumbag. You are a scumbag. You are a piece of shit, bitch. You are. And I'm never coming back on your life again after this. If you honest to God believe that those babies lied, you are a scum bitch.
Okay. I'm going to.
You are, Tim.
Okay.
You are. And fuck you. And fuck everything about your mama should have aborted you. You're a scum.
Okay. That doesn't.
You think yes, they did to say and they fucking lie?
That doesn't. You're not.
You are a scumbag.
You're so passionately involved. You're not hearing what I'm saying.
Because I was a victim, you sorry bitch. And the same goddamn fucking motherfucking nigga said it too.
Hey. All right.
Fuck you.
All right.
I lied. And guess what happened, Tim? He came out, he got 100 fucking years, Tim. He got 100 fucking goddamn years for raping me. Over 60 goddamn times.
I thought we were talking about Trump.
No. Men like you make us sick because nobody believed us.
I
And then
thought.
you're coming up and saying, oh no, a lot of us fucking lied. A lot of fucking lies.
I thought we were talking about Trump.
Does not want to come out, Tim.
I thought we were talking about Trump. We're not. Listen, don't get
We're
involved.
talking about Trump because those babies were my age, Tim.
Okay.
13, 14 years old. My age. And you always say that the fucking lie. No 13-year-old kid is going to lie, Tim. They're not going to lie.
That ain't what I
They
said.
don't lie because they're being hurt, Tim.
Okay. All right. Anyway,
And you're a
let's.
sorry son of a bitch. And you know what? I'm never, ever going to come out. I'm never going to come back on your life. Because you know what, Tim? Man, people like you don't let rape victims come out or SA victims come out because we are afraid of fucking.
So let me ask you something. Okay, well let me ask you a question. And by the way, I see in the comments, Ellen One says, "Gangster, even though I'm on the left, shut up until everything is revealed. Don't make a fool of yourself." Shaking my head. One of the viewers said, "What I want to ask you is this, Gangster Grandma." So if
no, what you just said.
I'm trying to ask
what
you.
What you just said about women lie. This ain't the time to bring that shit up, Tim.
Okay,
This
so
ain't the time to bring this shit up.
okay, fair enough. So let me ask you this question.
Fuck you, Tim.
All right, I'll move it on then. If you don't have nothing else to say with that, I'll leave it at that. I'm just going to simply say this: women do lie about this stuff. Do most of them lie? Probably not. I'm not going to say that, but it's not 100% honesty. It's absolutely not 100. I brought it the Mike Tyson case or the Duke Lacrosse case. I do believe women. In fact, there was an African American guy that was a college player, had his whole football career ruined. And he did time because some girl lied on him. And the only reason he got out is because he was able to get the girl to confess on the phone that she lied on him. It does happen. So based on what I was going to ask her, since we're talking about minors, though, is if any minor makes an accusation against an adult, should we just take it as fact? Should we just remove due process from all adults going forward? Because children don't lie? Is that what we're talking about? Because just like she can passionately give you stories about what happened to her, and I don't want to, I was trying to not go down that road because I could see it was emotionally affecting her. She's always emotionally affected, but I don't want to, destroy somebody mentally. But she was going in a direction on her own. But my point is, just like there are women that are emotionally affected from that, like her, there are men like the player I just mentioned on the college team or the Mike Tysons. I mean, think about how much damage that did to Mike Tyson. I don't believe Robin Givens was telling the truth. The guy lost 3 years of his career while he was in prison. And in his case, that's probably going to be 8-9 figures. So people do lie about that. I know it's incredibly unpopular for a man to suggest that women don't always tell the truth about that. And women are going to eat, like she said, women choose the bear. Women don't want to hear that. I get it, but why have due process if you're not going to adhere to it? This is the same shit we're holding Trump accountable for when it comes to immigrants or when it comes to drug dealers. Well, when it comes to somebody saying that you sexually assaulted them, the guy should get due process on that as well. There's enough women that are dishonest about it that you can't just take it at face value. And I'll tell you this, like what she was passionate about is that we don't get justice because there's too many men, she was saying, like me, that don't take it at face value or don't believe her. I'll tell you this, in my opinion, if more women hammered the ones that lie, demanded that they pay a heavy price for lying, it probably wouldn't be that bad. But when women get caught lying on it, you don't see a whole bunch of feminists coming out saying you need to really make her throw the book at her for lying because she's ruining it. You don't hear them saying anything. You don't hear them saying nothing at all. It's plenty of people that lie and make that stuff up. If I'm wrong, I'm lying. If I'm lying, I'm flying. But I do know there's a lot of people that make stories up as well. There are plenty of, just like domestic violence is another one. Domestic violence is another thing that women suffer, but a lot of women also lie about it. Most men know of at least one dude that somebody gave a bullshit story or called the cops on him. His girlfriend was just mad he was out too late or didn't like his new girlfriend. A lot of women lie about domestic violence as well. You can't just take everybody's word when there's a whole bunch of liars at play. Even if it's only 10, 20% of them. That's still, people are getting harmed behind that shit. So I want to say that because fact is, if you're a pro-Second Amendment guy, or maybe you got a job in security or you work in law enforcement, if a woman makes up a domestic violence case again, you can lose your whole fucking career because you may have to carry as part of that job. That happens to dudes. That actually does happen to people. Does that make the guy wrong for bringing up something like that? It happens. Let me go back to the box. Like I said, I know this is not popular with women, but it is what it is. Come down harder on the women that lie. You'll get more allies. Real quick in the comments, I appreciate that you handled that. I got handled, David. I don't know if I handled that or not. Maybe she handled me. With Trump's history of lying and appearances of impropriety, he still gets the benefit of the doubt. Unfortunately, you got to get, and I'm not going to disagree that Trump tells lies. Trump tells a lot of lies. I mean, he says a lot of things that are not true, over exaggeration. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that. However, you still got to give him due process on each individual case. You still got to give him due process. Let me go back to the box. That wasn't easy. I'm gonna go to a woman. Miss Mobetta, good evening.
Hey Tim.
Have I solidified your decision to choose the bear going forward?
Now listen. That's a touchy situation, and if Gangsta Grandma is still in here, I suggest that you not enter into those type of debates or conversations until you're completely healed from your personal space, because again, a lot of these things are circumstantial. People do lie. Again, that happened to a family member of mine personally, where the woman did lie. Not only did she lie, she forced her child to lie.
Ooh. So in other words, kids are capable of lying too.
Kids are, and I'm not talking about that situation with Trump. I'm not even talking about that.
Right.
This goes beyond that. But I understand Gangsta Grandma's passion, because
so do I.
It did happen to her, and the people around her, nobody wanted to believe her. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's hard, but both things can be true at the same time.
Right. Yeah, and that's the point I'm making. That's the point I was trying to make to her, is that just because you were a victim, that doesn't mean everybody claiming to be a victim are victims too.
Right. Not all stories are the same. Not all situations are the same. So you got to take things like this case by case. You have to know who you're dealing with, who you're around. You have to know all of these things. Some people have a better way to go to fight certain situations like that. No. You understand what I'm saying? So, but my advice to you, Gangsta Grandma, if you're still listening, take some time for yourself. Bring yourself down. Go to counseling if you still need to go, and just don't enter into those conversations, especially on the internet, because the internet is undefeated.
How about
it's unforgiving?
How about this? The Virgo in the comments tackles it from a different angle. Virgo 6'7" says, "How about come down harder on the men that abuse women? I was 5 up to 18. No one believed me." So she said,
"This is what we're saying." You know what I'm saying? Because there are situations where people don't believe you. That's why sometimes it's better to go talk to a stranger than somebody you actually know. See, us growing up in certain households, especially the minority households, what happens in this house stays in this house. So the abuser gets protected. You understand what I'm saying? And the stories don't come out until the trauma is already done. And then people start trauma bonding, which that means you start doing the things that people have done to you, because that became your norm, because nobody believed your story.
Yeah. What I don't like is, okay, when I was dealing with Gangsta Grandma, because of what she went through, her own personal trauma, she has the mindset of anybody that suggests women are lying are just on the side of the abuser and they don't believe people. I'm like, no, I mean, some people are telling the truth, some people lie. I mean, there's a lot to gain. You could have a custody issue where lying can benefit you. Maybe the guy has money. I mean, there's a ton of reasons. There's legitimate reasons to lie.
It's a lot of different things that go along with that territory, and that's why a lot of people don't get into those discussions.
Yeah.
Because of that, you're gonna hear some stuff that you're not gonna like. You're gonna hear things that's not gonna agree with your story or whatever. But like I said, all of that can be true at the same time.
Well, I think in her case
that happened to her, because that's disgusting.
And I think that's what it is. I think because it happened to her, she is no longer like, unbiased. She is on one side of it. I think that because it happened to her, anybody that accuses somebody, she's going to automatically believe them because it happened to her.
No, it just it's very sensitive for her. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, she went off on you, but now she kind of blamed you for her personal space, and that's not how that went.
And that's what I was trying to ask her, but she was too busy saying "fuck you" on her. What I wanted to ask her was, are you saying that any child that makes an accusation should instantly be believed at face value? Should we just instantly charge the guy anytime a child makes an accusation? Because even kids do lie. You don't expect them to lie about something like that, but kids are smart enough not to call the cops on their parents. I mean,
that's true.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely true. And again, if a child does come out and say that this stuff is happening, of course there should be an immediate investigation.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? But when it gets brushed under the rug, this is where the trauma starts coming in. You know what I'm saying? Where again, we already know. Look at Clarence Thomas. He got away with the shit. You understand what I'm saying? So it happens. All of that stuff can be true. You know what I'm saying? Again,
I believe it absolutely. I believe it absolutely happens on both sides. I believe that most. I tend to think that most women that make that accusation are probably telling the truth, though. But because there is enough of them that lie, you got to investigate it from a standpoint of innocent until proven guilty. So, but I do believe that I don't think most women are just making that shit up. I think most cases they're telling the truth. But like I said, they don't come down hard enough on the ones that get caught lying.
That's true. There's no repercussions for you lying, because there are people sitting in prison right now for being falsely accused or stuff like that, and it ruins people's lives.
And that's another good point, because somebody said they need to come down harder on men that abuse kids. If a woman lies about is there any punishment for that at all? If she lied and say you did something and you got to go and fight out.
And that's what makes it hard for the people that are actually being victimized, that are actually being abused. That's what makes it hard, because you do have some of those people out there that are making up stories because either they're grifting or for whatever reason. They'll make up a story to get out of a lie. Again, I've seen it happen more than one time, where a friend, may he rest in peace, he's passed away since, had to dress up like a woman to get out of town because the woman that he was actually having a whole relationship with lied, because that was a racial thing at the time.
Wow. Yeah, that's another one. There's been a whole lot of white women.
It can run real deep. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, it does happen. Women do lie. Men lie. Children lie. People lie.
Yeah, that's another one.
That's not to laugh at anybody's situation, but people lie.
Yeah, that's another one. There's been a whole lot of Negroes that have been beaten and killed because white women lied on them. I mean, look at Emmett Till. May he rest in peace. Come on now, it's a lot of evidence out there of lies happening. Yeah, like that's not even a question. Yeah, like the woman sleeps with the guy and now they don't created a child and she don't want to tell her family that she's got an interracial, so she lies and they got raped her. I mean, there's a lot of people who went to their grave for those made up lies. So women do lie.
Yep. Women lie. So again, against grandma, my heart goes out to her. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully she'll feel better by the end of the night and, calm down or whatever. But talk to somebody, because it's still triggering to her. Yeah. You understand? Not that it'll ever go away, but you can get to a point where you can speak about this stuff and not get overly emotional. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not erasing her.
I wasn't trying to do that to her. I did not know that.
And I know you weren't, Tim. I know you weren't.
I have never talked to her. She's never brought that up on the show. It just, this topic came up.
She has, but she didn't go that hard. You know what I'm saying? She spoke about it before. But she didn't. It didn't go that far. You know what I mean? Yeah. This one was way left. So, but hopefully she get some kind of healing from that. And to move forward, hopefully whatever goes on in that situation where they got Trump, whoever is on the files list or whatever, let's get this shit all out, put it all out on the table.
Would it matter though? But
Come
come on,
prosecuted,
but Miss,
and let's be done with that.
but Miss Mo better. Well, first of all, you know if it comes out, Pam Bondi is not going to prosecute Trump. Do you even think
No,
MAGA?
she needs to be. Her ass need to be prosecuted. Who needs to be prosecuted is her lying ass. Because again, she was involved in all of this shit way before she even entered into this office when she was down in Florida in her position. She's the reason why Epstein got away with so much shit. Pam Bondi, she was already involved in all of this shit.
But what about MAGA? Do you think MAGA would even care? Now that Trump's got in office, it's obvious he is being resistive to letting the list and stuff come out. And MAGA's still down with Trump as if nothing happened. First, it was the liberals and Biden were hiding some. Clinton was on the list. Everybody from Tom Hanks to Oprah was on it. And we need to get Trump in there because he's going to be transparent. Once he got in there, he's doing anything but being transparent. And MAGA's still rolling with him. Do you think they would even care if this stuff is incriminating?
They don't care. And that's why, this is why he keep going after them. He gonna keep feeding them that bullshit because they keep biting it. He said it. He could go unalive somebody on the Fifth Avenue and they wouldn't believe it. When you know what them pretzels will do, start twisting the story, moving goalposts, making up excuses, blaming Biden. Biden this, Biden that. That MAGA had a fucking fit when he pardoned his son. And his son ain't even do shit. What did he do? What did his son do?
Well, his son probably is guilty, but when you look at the fact that Trump's kids are making a fortune, whatever. I mean, because Hunter Biden ain't made nowhere near the kind of money. Even Barron, even that little 20-year-old is worth millions of dollars now. Trump's family's making a killing. So it was
making money hand over
fist. Yeah. So all of that, but they wanted to go after Hunter Biden for Burisma, talking about he was making money from a job. He didn't have the credentials. I mean, that's happening in the Trump family, and they suddenly don't care about it.
They had a natural born fit that Biden was pardoning people that didn't even have charges. But Biden already knew if he didn't pardon them, what Trump was going to get in office and do. He already knew he was gonna target them.
But listen,
you know what I'm saying? He would have gave Hunter the 45 years that he just pardoned that Honduran president for.
That's crazy. That is crazy. That he wants to go after the likes of Liz Cheney, Letitia James, Hunter Biden, but he pardons the drug kingpin.
And you see, they keep throwing that shit of Letitia James out of the courts. They keep throwing it out of there because they know it's what's it called?
They say you can indict a ham sandwich that they can't indict Letitia. I mean, it just shows how much money are they wasting, because that's just a revenge play. That's all that is revenge.
Yes.
Like how much?
That's what it was. That's why they keep throwing it out. Retribution. So that's why they keep throwing it out of there, because it's so minute. The mortgage she had didn't even reach $200,000. She makes more than that in a year. Like, so what are y'all really saying here? You know, what are you doing?
I think
taxpayers' money.
One thing I can say for certain, once this is over, Pam Bondi is going to lose her ability to practice law forever. But I will say this also. I will say this also.
As her raggedy ass should.
I will say this also, Raggedy. I heard that one in a while. I will say this, that a lot of folks are going to have settlements. I think Letitia James probably be worthy of suing the federal government and getting a settlement for them dragging her through the ringer. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, that dude's going to get paid. Once if you get a liberal administration in it, that dude is going to get paid. They have tried so many ways to fuck this dude's life up. Sent him to prison in El Salvador. Tried to send him to Africa. Like, there is no, other than the fact that he's here undocumented, everything else they're saying about this guy is nothing like what I just told Gangsta Grandma. It's just allegations. He's MS-13. He's trafficking kids. It's not based on any evidence.
Alleged shit. Yeah, no, for real. All that shit is alleged. You know how it's gonna be more people trying to sue this administration in a little bit. So now, what did I hear? Didn't I hear something about Mike Johnson getting out today? That allegedly leaving Congress?
No, I haven't heard it, but wow, really? Well, they're suggesting that a bunch of them are going to step down. If you're in a district that is purple, or you got lucky and won a red district, you probably kind of realize that this next go round is not going to be in your favor. You need to be in a solid red district. But if you're in a district that's purple, or you happen to win a blue district, It's probably not. I mean, because they don't. And it's not just Trump, but normally an incumbent loses in the midterms. But with his poll numbers being the way they are, shit. People say super majority.
That was. I heard it on. I heard it on TikTok today. Actually, a guy. I think I reposted it if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna have to go check.
Mike Johnson stepping down would be major. I watched this week with George Stephanopoulos.
But why I didn't really touch on it too much because I said that would have been that would have been
that
like
would be
Pam
huge.
Bondi all over the news.
That
You know
would
what I'm
be-
saying?
I mean,
that would have been all over the news.
Not
You
to-
like my hat, Tim? I made it.
I can't hold on a second. I have to bring you up here real quick in the comments. Handsome says, "Tell Miss Mo better. Yes, Mike Johnson is on his way out. It is true." Oh, I like it. I do. You look like an LSU fan.
Well, my hometown, these are their colors. So
Oh, okay.
I crochet their colors.
Oh, you got a little skill there. Ain't nothing wrong with a woman that got some
Listen,
skills.
I'm a Jane of many trades. I wear a lot of hats, Tim.
Okay, I've gotten in trouble for not wearing a couple of them back in my day, but okay. I got in trouble for not wearing it. So Jimmy is wearing a hat. All right, let me put you back down. But yeah, I gotta remember that I'm getting old now. So things on. I'm not exactly Al Pacino or Robert De Niro. It don't work anymore like that no more. But that was then. That was then.
Get your shit together, Tim.
That was the old me. That was the old me.
Long time ago.
Yeah, see, Big Dog said I'd like to crown you, Miss Mo better. Woo, Lord. My rod and my staff shall comfort thee. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, looking good. They're looking good. I'll go ahead and move it on because you got me dark as hell blushing anyway, but I'll go ahead and move it on. So at least I got one that ain't picking a bear. So shout out to you.
Yeah, no. Listen, that's a touchy situation, and but listen, I've even talked to people that are SA offenders. But so you have to sit down and talk to. You have to hear people's actual story. These stories are not just general.
Right.
Everything is a case by case situation. It's not just all right. Oh, he's an SA or whatever. It's case by case, and it's really touchy. And people really have to start going to counseling and stuff to heal from these things.
Fair enough. And I got to look up that speaker.
You're gonna end up bleeding on somebody that didn't cut you.
Ooh, damn. I can go a whole lot of ways. I'll leave it at that, Miss Mo.
Okay.
Oh my God. Appreciate you coming through. Looking good as always. Always a pleasure. Holla at you. All right. Even the audience is like, damn, look at her. Go ahead on. Let me move on with the program. Mike Johnson. I seen one of Handsome, you said Mike Johnson stepping down. I want to see that. I have to look that one up. I want to see Tim put back on that yellow wig that was hilarious. I don't have a yellow wig. What are you talking about? And you can't see my guest on TikTok. No, Mike Johnson. No, I'm kind of, back then, what is the song? Back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all love me. Mike Johnson. I'm curious to see how that goes because I have not heard that. Anyway, let me move on with the program. Make these nuts great again, says, yep. Well, we'll see. It's not about Democrats versus Republicans. It's a spiritual war. Good versus evil. The government is evil. I don't agree with that. I can't read the name there. Pam, something like that. I don't agree that it's good versus evil and the government is. I'll tell you something. The people can be very, very evil on their own. If you got rid of government and let the people govern themselves, you would find out there's a whole lot of evil people too. A lot of evil people. Just imagine a Mad Max type environment, full anarchy, where the people rule. It would be roving marauders every damn where. There's a whole lot of evil people out there. In fact, I would much rather have a government-controlled society, kind of like civilized society. I would much rather have a society where you have police and things like that, as opposed to just letting the people do whatever they want and govern themselves. I think it would be much worse. Let me go back to the box. James Harper. Obama 2028 says that ain't gonna happen. I don't even think Obama would want it. Tim, you need some Trump hair. You want me to have some blonde hair with a big ass bald spot in it? You want the orange makeup too? James, good evening.
What's going on, Tim?
Not much at all. I'm in the trenches. I haven't had a guy on there after what I said about women, and Gangsta Grandma tore me apart.
I'm not touching that subject.
Thank you, because it ain't a good one. But we were also talking about everything from Mike Lindell trying to run for governor of Minnesota, which I don't think is going to be a good chance. But also, I mentioned earlier too that President Trump. You heard about the gerrymandering failure in Indiana, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He actually threatened that before that happened. He threatened that if they didn't vote the way he wanted, he would literally cut the funding for that state. Roads wouldn't get done, bridges wouldn't get done, the National Guard wouldn't get funded. Why do you think MAGA's silent on it? That's obvious corruption.
Because MAGA has done a 180 on everything they swear up and down they believe in.
Why would they do that?
How you go from small government? And remember, they swore up and down that the left was committing what was it? Election interference.
Yeah.
What's this?
It's a good point. That's a real good point. It is.
And I guarantee you ask MAGA about that, the first thing they're gonna say is, "Well, the left did it, so we should do it too."
Well, then you can't complain about it anymore if you're okay with it, as long as you're doing it for your side. But you're right that the right says they're for small government. Like this, what is the woman in Colorado's name? Tina something. I can't think of her last name, but she was, she's been jailed for election interference, and it's a state crime. So Trump cannot pardon her, even though he's trying to. He's demanding that state pardon her, let her out of jail, or he's going to punish that state. I do follow your statement. What happened to small government? This guy is involved in all kinds of shit he's not supposed to be involved in.
They don't want to admit that Trump is a transactional president, and he does not mind doing something that would be perceived as against the law if he benefited from it in some kind of way.
And MAGA's okay with that?
Because it's Trump.
So then I have to ask I have to ask the obvious question. What happens after Trump? I mean, if we've been turning a blind eye and letting Trump do all this stuff, as you say, because it's Trump, what happens when the next guy does it?
Trust me, when Trump is gone from this world, MAGA is not going to know what to do with themselves because they won't have nobody. They won't have nobody to pick up where he left off. Trump made sure there was nobody that will get anywhere near the same kind of spotlight he gets.
You're telling me once Trump is gone, the MAGA movement will come apart?
There'll be a lot of infighting, and they'll be broken off. Like I think they'll die down like the Tea Party did.
There's already a lot of infighting with Candace Owens and Marjorie Taylor Greene right now. I mean, it's starting to happen right now to some degree.
Well, you also got to admit those people that are doing the infighting, half of the ones that are like rebelling are the ones that like they didn't get the support that they thought they were going to get from Trump now.
Oh shit, that's gonna happen to any of them if they go against Trump. I mean, really the MAGA movement is not set up to get support from Trump. It's set up for Trump to get support from you. If you do not do as he suggests you should, that's going to be it. I mean, it's not set up for you to get support from him. It's set up for you to support him.
Right, but you got to also remember, like the people that are getting his favor are the ones that are desperate to be in a position of power because they know they can't get that kind of way on their own. And as you can see, they weren't never meant to be in those kind of positions of power because they don't know what they're doing.
I don't agree with that. I think that a lot of them were already in power before Trump came along. They just they just went submissive and just let Trump govern it. I mean, a large portion of the Republican Congress and Republican Senate, they were already there before Trump got elected. They just decided to bow down when he got in power.
Yeah, they were in Senate, but before Trump got into power, look at most of them. They were the unknown members. Like people didn't know who they were, like outside of like their district. Now all of a sudden that Trump's in power. Now these people that, as you can see, don't know they head from their ass is always in the always out there in the cameras, like trying to push these policies and things like that, and try to get like favor from Trump.
Well, then you kind of if that's the case, you're kind of putting all your chips in because if Trump wins, you'll be forever powerful. If he loses, you're going to lose with him. I mean, if for some reason Trump if like the midterms, you're gonna have a whole lot of people if the economy and some of these other promises Trump has made are not coming to reality. You're gonna have a whole lot of people that broke with Trump, like the big beautiful bill, for instance. Once people's health care costs go up, allegedly supposed to be starting next month. If that happens, you're gonna have a whole lot of people that voted for the big beautiful bill losing their jobs because there is no explaining that away. You can tell me how Obamacare sucked, but if my health care doubled under you, even if Obamacare sucked, what you're doing is worse.
And see, those, and that's what it is. They think that people aren't going to realize that. They think that all they got to do is just say, well, it's the less fault that this happened, and people are actually going to believe it. But it's like, no, your bill passed. They said that this was going to happen, and it happened. That's what it is. They think everybody's as gullible as MAGA is.
Well, I mean, I gotta say, it's good work if you can get it. I would love to have Trump's power. I mean, the guy does have a lot of power. I mean, if he says it, therefore it is. But I think a lot of it has been mainly because the Democrats have been saying all this stuff about Trump that has not been coming to reality in terms of the whole country's going to fall apart and things like that. I think in January, if people's health care costs go up astronomically like they're talking about, this will be the first time the Democrats have said something really bad is going to happen under Trump, and they will have a tangible result because it will be happening to them. They will clearly be able to see that. Other than that kind of stuff, it's always been what people suggest is liberal fear-mongering, but that's not fear-mongering. If your insurance costs go up like that, that's Trump. That's big, beautiful bill. You can't blame that on Biden.
Right, but at the same time, like a lot of things that they've been accusing Trump of trying to do, remember, they say if he's trying to do this, he's trying to do it. He's always had somebody that push back on and say, sir, we can't do this. We don't have that authority. We can't do this. And that was all in his first term. This term now, everybody's a yes man. That's why he's just running rampant doing all this stuff. And now you see the results of it.
Well,
Usually policy that goes in effect in the first year, you don't see the results until like year 3 or 4. Like we're seeing the results of this stuff at the real time now.
well, some of the stuff he's doing, you probably won't be able to see. You won't see the results immediately, such as the tariffs, such as the relationships with NATO and things like that. Some of that stuff is going to be
we seen that now because, like they said, the power of the dollar is going down, inflation is going up, and everything else that he said these tariffs were supposed to do, the exact opposite is happening, and our relationship with all these countries are in the shit. Like,
yeah,
it's,
but people
it's
aren't
worse now than his first term.
Yeah, but the tariffs, people are not suffering as bad as if the tariffs continue at the rate they are. This time next year, I predict the suffering will be significantly worse. Yes, people are starting to see the cost of tariffs, but I don't think it's as bad as it's gonna get. I think that the bleeding is not serious enough yet. Now, when it comes to the healthcare costs, for instance, you will see immediate hemorrhaging from that. When people start having to pay $200, $300, $400, $500 extra per month, there are people who cannot afford to pay the first premium increase that's that high. I mean, I can't even pay one of these. If they're struggling to get by and they're paying $400 a month for healthcare, they can't even afford 1 month of it being at $800. I mean, the first month I can't afford it.
But see, and that's the thing, like, we can't even say like this is a big beautiful bill right now. This is just the fact that they let this one policy sunset. Like all the stuff that's happening in the big beautiful bill, that's supposed to take effect after the midterms. So like they try to push it off till after the midterms because they knew it was going to affect things.
Yeah.
And
I don't
the fact
see.
that they didn't try to bring it.
Yeah, I don't. What I don't get is because Trump came down the golden escalator talking about repeal and replacing Obamacare in 2015. It's 10 years later. You don't have any. Okay, you finally caught up. It's like the dog that catches up with the truck and don't know what to. Okay, you caught up with it. Now you are successfully in place to repeal Obamacare. You don't have nothing to replace it with. You've been chasing this for 10 years and you don't have nothing else. You just go repeal it and boom, all this money got to be paid. I think that right there will wake up some MAGA because 10 years and you don't have a plan to replace it with. You started out from day one saying repeal and replace. Okay, you're about to successfully repeal it and you have nothing 10 years down the line to replace it with. I would like to hear MAGA speak on that, to be honest with you.
But you got to remember, Trump is an ideal guy. He well, not ideals, idea guy. Like every time he listens to his fan base and what they don't like, he'll come in and chat and talk about so. Well, if you put me in power, I'm going to change that. I'm going to fix that issue. But he never tells you how he's going to fix those issues. And then when the time comes, like he said when he won the first time about the lock her up chance, he's like, "Oh, I just said that because I knew they were going to like it."
That's the same thing with the Epstein list too. They said that he just said that. I mean, but that's a great position to be in, is that I can tell you some shit, and then when I don't deliver, I was just saying that, and people are okay with that. I mean, I was just joking about that, and people be okay with that.
Because MAGA has selective memory. They don't remember his 4 years in office. All they remember is, oh, I got a stimulus check 2 times while he was in office. That's all they remember.
Why don't he do that? You think he could curry favor with the voters if he did that this time? Hand out a $2,000, $5,000 stimulus check again?
How many checks has he promised this year alone?
I know he started out with $6,000 with Doge. I mean, think about 3 times.
Right, and not one time has anything. There was no bill to propose. None of that. None of those things. Like he just promised, like, oh yeah, because we're doing all this money's going to come out. But in hindsight, he did that to cover what they actually did with the Doge cuts and all that.
What I don't like is this. Trump is claimed to be cutting billions in waste, fraud, and abuse. We got rid of USAID. You mentioned Doge with all the federal workers being fired. I mean, they're kicking out immigrants because they're supposedly getting all these entitlements. I want to know, when do we get to the point where the American citizen can say, damn, I'm glad he did that because it helped me out in this way. It gave me money in this way. My bank account is bigger. I'm hearing about all this money being saved, but I don't hear the average American bragging about receiving any of it. I hear about the ballroom. I hear about the Qatar jet where now you got millions to refurbish it. I don't hear about the average American saying they're getting anything from this stuff. What happened to America first?
Because that's a slogan. Like I said, these guys, it's like cheering for you. Like you say with your Bears, you happy your Bears won. Well, guess what? MAGA's happy that the MAGA party won.
So when they thought the Democrats were going to destroy the country. How about this though? Grandy's Garden in the comments says the liberals can't find one damn thing they support, or better yet, they approve of Trump. I'll give it to you because I've said plenty of things I think Trump did that's good for America. But do you see Trump as someone who's done zero for this country?
Anything he's done for this country, you got to look at. Has he benefited from it personally?
Securing the border, does he benefit from that?
He did secure the border, Tim. Don't start that.
Protecting the integrity of women's sports, do he benefit from that? I mean, he's done some things that he doesn't benefit from. I think the Lincoln Riley Act was a good one.
He didn't even do anything about that. Like he can't ban anybody from sports because that's not his purview. He doesn't have that authority. He makes grandiose statements almost, I did this and I did that, but you never see anything in writing.
He does go ahead.
He's the king of verbal agreements, but you never see none of them agreements like being legally binding.
I like the king of verbal agreements. He does make a lot of verbal agreements. That is true, but he's done a few good things for the country. Tourism
is like, you think immigration is down, tourism is down.
Yeah.
Like all them tourist spots. Like you look at Vegas right now. Vegas is like a ghost town most times nowadays.
I'm gonna be there in a couple. I'm gonna be out there in a couple of weeks. I'm gonna see how it is. I'm actually going to Vegas in a couple. But like I said, I don't disagree with you. Tourism is terrible under Trump, and now that not only has he raised these visa costs up to like $1 million or whatever, he's also apparently they're trying to pass legislation that requires any foreign visitor to America hand over 5 years of social media posts. That would make everybody want to stay away.
That's because we like this last election put in one of the most insecure person in the country. Like he's so vain that any negative, like if you talk negative to him about him one time, he wants to either throw you in jail or kick you out the country.
Yeah, well, the guy believes in loyalty. The guy believes in you speaking favorably. But how about this? In the comments, one of my viewers, Scrappy Girl, says he has signed a lot of bills. You obviously don't watch any of that. Now, she may be referring to me. What bills? And by the way, what bills have Trump signed?
He signed executive orders.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing because it's not.
He signed a lot of executive orders, not bills. Those are two different things. Apparently, like I said, MAGA doesn't know what they're talking about. They think anytime he signs something, that's automatically law. It's not law. Because at the same time that they're saying all this stuff, they were complaining about Obama and Biden doing signing executive orders. About it's an overreach of power, but they're okay with Trump doing it.
Yeah, and I was going to say the same thing, is that if you're not getting congressional approval on it, him signing bills, like you just pointed out, those are executive orders. That means the next guy can come in there and get rid of all of that stuff. And that's most of Trump's governing has been him in his signature. You know, everything from the Gulf of America on up has been him just signing shit. All of that stuff's going to probably go away. I mean, I hear they're trying to name the, remember Black Lives Matter Plaza in D.C.? They're trying to name that after Charlie Kirk.
Basically, it's all about pissing off liberals.
Yeah.
That's why MAGA is so happy about it, because it's like it's the opposite end. If we can do things to piss them off or hurt them, I'm all for it. That's how they are.
Well, if you like Trump because of pissing off liberals, you should be very happy. He's done a really good job at that. He's been really good at getting his way over liberals. I mean, I can't, you know, if that is what you're counting as a victory, I can't hate on you. You should be very happy because he has done a lot of damage to liberal causes, what liberals like, going in liberal cities with the military to show them, thumb his nose up at them. I mean, he's pissed off a lot of liberals. Liberal tears are everywhere.
And it's like that phrase that LBJ said. If you can get a man to, if you could sit there and say that this person is lower than you, they'll sit there and empty their pockets just to put them down. And that's exactly what he's doing.
I'm getting MAGA just telling me, James, that President Trump is the best president we've ever had. I get that all the time.
Okay, they're saying that, but all of our, like, the fact that, like, we are at our lowest as far as our allies concerned, and not only, like, tactical, but intellectual, like, we can't get any kind of information from our allies right now because they don't want to give it to us because they already know they're going to misconstrue that information and going to do something that's against international law.
So how do we fix these relationships after he's gone? I mean, are these relationships going to be damaged for a lengthy period of time? It'll be the same thing that Biden had to do. Biden had to go around healing these relationships. Like when he was in office, a lot of those countries was actually like getting better with us. Like back to how it was before Trump got in office. And then once he got in office, he went and kept doing the exact same thing he was doing. Shutting our allies and cozying up to all our enemies. Yeah, I kind of wonder how Zelensky feels right now. Does he consider America as an ally or not? Because Trump has been very favorable to Russia. So and you're right.
Let's be honest. Before Trump got in office, there was a good check. Like it looked like Ukraine was winning. They was pushing them back. They was invading. They were getting back into the Russia and pushing them in. And then what happened? Trump and Elon got in there. And what's the first thing they did? Oh, so you don't want to give us nothing beneficial? We're gonna do the exact opposite. We're gonna cut off all the intel that you're supposed to get, and we're gonna stop all this these weapons and money that's supposed to be coming to you to help you pay for shit.
Yeah. Well, Trump and MAGA viewed the Ukraine as corrupt from day one. They were already saying that they had neo-Nazis in the country and they were corrupt. When Trump was running for office, I think the word was out already that we were not going to be favorable to the Ukraine under a Trump administration. In fact, he's probably been more favorable than we expected him to be.
Hold on, Tim. You just said they were mad because there's neo-Nazis in Ukraine, but there's neo-Nazi MAGA supporters.
I'm just telling you what I heard.
How do you sit like you don't never see like the white nationalists and the neo-Nazis getting shunned by MAGA at all, but you see they talk about Ukraine.
Yeah, that makes a little bit of sense. I'm just telling you what I heard. I got to move it on, but they do say that they were saying that there were neo-Nazis in Ukraine, which is not a reason to invade a country. I don't know why that was even coming up, but they were bringing it up. So I'll leave it at that. James, appreciate you coming in.
No problem, Tim.
Anytime. All right, tap the screen, folks. Get us on up to 131. Wow, you guys have been cool. Betty 130, make that happen. Let your thumbs not be lazy. This is uncensored free speech programming. We don't get as many MAGA as I would like, but I'm trying to. One of my guests we've been trying to get on Rumble. I know there's a lot of MAGA on Rumble, but we certainly do not block, ban, or censor MAGA. This is not a program where only liberals can call in. And I'll take MAGA callers all day, and we won't censor or limit your time just because you got a difference of an opinion. You can be critical of anybody on this program, including yours truly. We always say we go left of Bernie Sanders till I'm having dinner with Q. But if you like uncensored programming, this is the place you can tune in. We generally hear most weekdays. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to follow the program. If you're watching on Instagram currently, or if you're watching currently on Facebook or TikTok, follow us. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a sub. MAGA, neo-Nazis, white nationalists are the same people, says Mr. Stretch. This is insane. Ukraine, calm down. What do you mean, Ukraine, calm down? I don't get that. Trump has given countries penalties if they are importing Russian oil by slapping tariffs on certain goods, i.e. India, that resulted in them importing less oil. Here's a problem with some of that stuff. Like what my last caller talked about, Trump being the king of verbal agreements. Trump says a lot of things that do not always culminate. For instance, I'll give you an example. I think it was in 2012, 13, somewhere around. We're talking about the Obama years. Obama threatened the leader of Syria that if he continued using biological weapons on his own people, America would interact. He called it the drawing a red line in the sand. At the time, the leader of Syria did not adhere to Obama's threat. Just kept doing it anyway. MAGA, Fox, the right hammered the hell out of the Obama administration, suggesting he's a weak president, making threats and not following up on them. Trump has threatened Putin like 6 times. He's threatened to sanction Russia. He's threatened to continue helping out Zelensky. He's made bank threats to him. We're going to start sanctioning bank accounts. He's made like 6 different threats to Putin if Putin does not stop the invasion of Ukraine. Putin hasn't adhered to any of them. MAGA don't have any problem with that. Suddenly they're not saying the same thing they were saying about Obama when he didn't follow through. Obama threatened Syria once. Trump has threatened Putin like 6 different times. Even stated that when he invited Putin to Alaska, if nothing productive came out of that, there would be severe penalties, is the words he used. There were no penalties for that whatsoever. Putin came over to America, laid out the red carpet for Trump or for Putin, put him in the beast, was applauding Putin that's some really, if Biden or Obama does something like that for one of our biggest adversaries, laid the red carpet out for the guy, had a paid for American flyover. We had to pay for, B-2s or whatever the hell flew over his head. We paid to give. Why the hell would we give Putin a flyover? We gave Putin a flyover. Trump standing at the end of the red carpet applauding as the guy walks up like he's the leader or something weird like that. And then put him in a presidential limo. When you factor in all the confidential secrets of that car, why would you put the leader of one of our adversaries in it? Does the guy get to tap the glass so he can tell his people, if we ever have to strike that car, the glass is about 8 inches thick? Why would you tell him that? Why would you put this dude in the car? And we got nothing out of that. Zero out of that. Putin went back to Russia and continued attacking Ukraine. Just like when Trump flew over to North Korea in his first term and met Kim Jong-un. Once again, he boasted on how great that was going to be. Within 6 months, Kim Jong-un was right back up to what he was doing. Like my last caller said, the king of verbal agreements, because ain't nothing getting signed out of that stuff. So stop trying to broker a peace. No, I'm fine with him trying to broker a peace deal, Tom. I'm not fine with him coming home and pretending like a peace deal was accomplished. If you're trying to broker a peace deal, then you're trying to broker a peace deal. Quit coming home talking about how great it was. How many times you need to come home and tell the American people you had a great phone call with Putin and nothing comes out of it before people stop believing your phone calls are great? Every time he meets with one of these folks, it's a great meeting. It's a great phone call, and nothing comes out of it. That's what we're talking about. King of verbal agreements. Let me go back to the box. That's all we're asking. If it's a great phone call, show us some greatness. I mean, like, show us some greatness out of it. I was a Trump supporter. Now I say fuck Trump. Who said that? Roger. Wow. So stop. Oh, you saw that already. Putin ain't an enemy. Really? You don't think Vladimir Putin is an enemy of the United States? He's now working with Venezuela. What do you mean Putin is not an enemy of the United States? Really? It's tricky, says that. You think Putin is a friend of America? Ah, yikes. That's different. Let me go back to Evil Majin Boo. Putin is not an enemy of the United States, huh? All right. That's a first. Evil Majin, good evening.
Man, you are on thin ice with Gangsta Grandma, dude. Wow.
I didn't do that though, man. That wasn't my fault. I don't want to sound like Mystical, who's in jail for rape himself, but I don't want to sound like Mystical, but it ain't my fault. I didn't do that.
I blame it on the alcohol. No.
Yeah. Shit, that wasn't my fault. Look, what's wrong with a man saying that some women lie when it comes to rape accusations? Is that a lie for me saying that? Am I wrong?
I would say, man, you have to tread very lightly about talking about that type of stuff. And I feel sad for her. Like, I really want to give her all the love in the world, but you gotta tread lightly with those subjects and the way that you are presenting it and everything else, man. Like,
I was, listen, I was trying.
Careful.
I was trying, just like this almost is like if a black person does something wrong, a white person has to tread lightly in calling it. Look, if you do something wrong, you're wrong. I don't care what the color the person is. They should be able to call it out. I mean, if a woman does something wrong, being a man shouldn't mean I can't call it out. I mean, look.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, it's not your place. That's just the thing. It's
what the hell? I'm the one that may be the recipient of a lie. What do you mean it's not my place?
It's because it's her situation. That's all that I'm going to say. If she's still listening, Gangsta Grandma.
She turned it into her. But the thing about it, she turned it into her situation. I didn't know that she had been victimized in the past. And one reason why it is a sensitive topic with women is because, unfortunately, there is a large amount of women that have been victimized. I think they said like 1 in 3 or something. There's a large amount of them. So if you're talking about assault and you start talking about from a man's standpoint, some of us get lied on, you probably are going to get a lot of pushback from women because there's a lot of them that have been genuine victims. But as I tried to tell her, there's plenty of women that lie about it. So, I mean, what can you say? Do you just ignore that?
I don't know, but let's get to the, to the topic. So,
okay. And I see in the comments, Takesha says, "Stay out of it, Tim. She told you, Tim. You just wasn't listening." No, I just simply said women lie sometimes. And she went off. She went off.
Look, I agree with her. So
I would tell you something though. I'm going to tell you something though. I'll tell you something. It's kind of like a seesaw or a swinging pendulum. There's only so much it can go one way before it starts being unfair for the other side. If you start, if you get to the point where you want to tread lightly with women and you stop even mentioning the fact that some women lie, you open up the door to more lies. I mean, you do have to acknowledge both sides of it. There are people there are men, just like with domestic violence, there are men that get lied on. There are plenty of people that have dealt with that. Okay.
Oh yeah. So, speaking of women, can you play the video of how Kristi Noem looked so stupid at this press conference because the Congress man made that woman look like stupid? stupid.
I've
She was
seen it. I don't
facing-
have it queued up, but I did see it. But listen,
That was wonderful. That was absolutely wonderful.
there's another video out there too where a guy asked, because you know Trump has said Antifa is going to be a terrorist outfit, and the guy, it was an African American that was interviewing him on a panel, and he said, you know, if you're saying Antifa is a terrorist outfit, can you tell us how many numbers, where they're headquartered? He didn't have any numbers. He didn't have anything. He looked terrible. He's like, you guys, you're telling me, yeah. He's like, you're telling me you came to the conclusion that the Antifa is a terrorist outfit. You don't know where they're headquartered. You don't know how many of them it is. You don't know. You didn't know anything about them other than Trump told you they're a terrorist outfit, and he had nothing to say. He looked stupid.
Right, though. And the thing is, though, he looked like he was in the middle of a dark highway, looking like a dumb deer, like, ooh, whose lights are those? Oops.
I mean, listen, to some degree, because these a lot of these men are, you know, they've been politicians for a while. Some of them are military and government. I mean, some of the stuff they know that Trump is saying is him being angry or just being vengeful. Fine, but don't get up there and try to defend it. I mean, listen, they know Antifa is not. They know people are not walking around being terrorized by Antifa. They know that Antifa's not. It's insane that he's trying to put Antifa in the same category as ISIS and Al Qaeda. They know that, and they just letting them do it.
Right. And that's the whole thing. This Trump administration is a waste of time. They are really stupid. They are clinging on that Antifa is a high, big corporation. Like, come on, man. Like, you can't even describe the larger groups of people who is putting on the organizations. Like, come on, dude. Like, how stupid can you be? Like, he was asking he was asking, you know, Christy Noel, like, specific types of of the questions, and she was like, yes, dog. Yes, master. Yes, master. Yes, I was there. Yes, man. I'm like, damn, like, just, it's almost like, look, I am the dentist. You're the patient. Open your mouth. Let me operate.
but has Christy Noem really did anything that's criminal? I mean, I think she'll be okay, won't she? I mean, after the Trump administration, she hasn't committed any crimes, has she?
Well, I don't know if you heard
the plane. The plane. I don't want to sound like Fantasy Island, but the plane she probably did with Kilmar and had him fly off when a judge told her that they couldn't take the guy to the country, and they did it anyway. So the plane, you know, sound like what was the little midget's name on Fantasy Island? The plane. So that came to mind. The plane. Yeah, the plane will probably get her. The plane will get her.
Right. But here's the thing, though. I think she will be on her way out too. It's because she has been doing some, like, rotten type of like some stuff, though, and you can honestly see that they couldn't even hold what's the Spanish guy's name that just got released, though, from, like, ICE.
You talking about the drug kingpin?
No.
You talking about Kilmar Bravo Garcia?
Yeah. So he is, like, obviously this Trump administration can't even do, like, the whole thing's right. And the other thing is, which is so shocking, is that even the nanny for Caroline Levitt, she has a whole lot of some like mega money coming her way.
Does she really?
Too.
The nanny?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How the fuck that happened?
Yeah.
The nanny? You know something? Listen, I lean left, but I wish I had some Trump friends because there's a lot of money flowing. I mean, they are making so much money that just being near the Trump administration, money can rub off.
Oh,
on you.
yeah.
I mean, there's so much money coming in. They're finding. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene made $25 million in a short period of time. And people weren't making a kill. They thought Hunter. They were saying that Hunter Biden was ripping people off. They are in a different universe than what Hunter Biden was doing.
Exactly. And yeah, I was also about to say though, did you see the it was the 60 minutes of the video of like it was Marjorie Taylor Greene when she
the interview, the 60 Minutes interview? Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Marjorie Taylor Greene better get her some security. Hopefully she got some serious security because I mean, yeah, I mean, listen, at this point, she already stated she's going to resign. She told Trump that she was getting death threats and he pretty much said, fuck off. So she don't have nothing to lose at this point. She don't have nothing to lose. I mean, he pretty much threw her in the garbage can. So at this point, ain't no benefit for her to be quiet about him. He's treating her like shit anyway.
Right. Or I would say in her like case, she needs to call it's the MIB because she needs some suits on her like crazy.
The problem is though, with her making $25 million, which I think most people, including me, tend to believe is probably insider trading. I wouldn't surprise me if she kept talking to Trump, threatening to prosecute her ass. I mean, like, look, I can pardon all my people. We'll leave your ass out there to get grabbed up. I mean, if you need to shut the fuck up, I mean, either you shut up or we're gonna start talking about how you make this $25 million. I would not put that past Trump to do that.
Right. Like, yeah, she just has an issue of always opening up her mouth and just saying like some wild ass type of the shit though. And it's just, she needs to stop talking, but some of the talking though that she is doing, it is really like, it is something else though. Like, some of it sounds real, but then some of it is like, she wants to try to argue with the what is the lady on the of like 60 Minutes though?
With the host? Yeah, to me, Marjorie Taylor Greene is kind of like Liz Cheney or Mike Pence. They're kind of politicians without a party because the Democrats are never going to accept Marjorie Taylor Greene, Liz Cheney, or Mike Pence. And then, of course, MAGA has made it so the Republicans are not going to accept them. So all three of them were politicians that had a long career ahead of them, and Trump has destroyed them. I mean, Liz Cheney and Marjorie Taylor Greene would have both been Congresswomen for a long time. And of course, Mike Pence, I mean, I don't know if he would have been, well, if he had Trump's blessing, I guess he would have been maybe in line for it, but they had careers ahead of them.
Honestly, I think Mike Pence kind of figured out his true colors where he is. I think Mike Pence was just like, man, this man is insane. I need to get away from
Actually, that's not what I've heard. Chris Christie, who used to be in with Trump, he stated in his book that I got behind me somewhere back here, he stated, he actually stated that Mike Pence, that's not it. He stated that Mike Pence tried to actually do what Trump said, which was not certify the 2020. Mike Pence was going to try to do it. He said Mike Pence consulted with his lawyers, and his lawyers told him, if you do what Trump is asking you to do, you're going to be dealing with court cases for the rest of your life. But he was actually going to not certify the election. He tried to see if he could do what Trump was asking him. And fortunately, he listened to his lawyers. But let me ask you this. Do you think J.D. Vance would do it?
If he can be in line to get the presidency, I think at this point he would sell out his family. Yeah.
Damn. Yikes.
Yeah.
Do you don't believe that him and Erica Kirk got anything going on, do you? Trying to take the old man's bride away now that the man has died?
There's something going on, yeah, because there's something trending on social media where
that's just a bunch of crazy liberals. That's a bunch of, I don't think Erica Kirk and JD Vance. I think that's a bunch of crazy liberals that just want to pass some shit around. I gotta move it on, but I don't think that's the case. I don't think that. No, that would be, man, that would be controversial to do that. I mean, the man just passed away in September.
But the thing is, though, Tim, it is a cult. What do cult leaders want? They want money and power.
You don't have to. You don't have to take the old man's bride for that, though.
JD Vance would sell out his wife in a heartbeat, man, in a heartbeat, because all he cares and all he wants is, how can I get to the top? How can I get rid of my wife? How soon can I get into Eric?
Why can't he get to the top? Why can't he get to the top with the current wife he got?
Because MAGA doesn't like people of color.
Ooh.
And also that MAGA wants the presidency to be white. They can barely handle Melania. So what does that even say?
I think MAGA loves Melania. I don't know where I'm getting that one from. And I see Takesha in the comments says that JD Vance's wife is not Christian. Hell, Trump is not a Christian and he's doing all right. I don't know. That would be. You think the man would get rid of his wife for the party, huh? Party over wife.
Look it up. Look up the video that they were at this of the dinner, and you see JD Vance with his.
It was a good embrace.
He's in a white shirt.
Yeah, he gave her a nice. Yeah. She gave him a nice embrace as well. I mean, she's not a bad looking woman.
So, and then the other thing that is making me so mad is that Erica Kirk, she has this thing about looking up, like, bitch, stop looking up. Stop. What the fuck are you looking up for?
Well, she might be looking up at Charlie. She might be looking at Charlie and saying, "I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Charlie."
Yeah, right.
Oh my Lord, bitch, stop looking up. I gotta go, Evil. I gotta go. Oh, Jesus Christ. Good talk. Bitch, stop looking up. Oh my Lord. They deported the veteran back to Korea and he is a Purple Heart recipient. So this is not a big deal for the USA. She must resign. Yeah, they deported a lot of people that probably should have. See, listen, what I don't like on this is the notion of commit crime must be punished, because our judicial system has never operated that way. If somebody commits a crime, usually the courts will weigh what they've done and make a decision based on individual cases. For instance, if I go to Walmart and I just decide to steal some power tools, maybe I'm building a deck out back and I don't want to pay for the tools, I'm shoplifting. If a woman that has a baby goes to Walmart and steals some baby formula because she's unemployed and homeless and want to feed her baby, those are both shoplifting cases. They shouldn't be judged the same. They shouldn't be judged the same. And the problem with the immigration cases is the MAGA side of the aisle want to judge them all the same. In the country illegally, must go. I don't care what your situation is, why you're here. I don't care what you've done since you've been here. You know, you might have been a model citizen or you might have been committing crimes. In country illegally, must go. No exceptions. We never do our system like that. Every case, judges listen. I don't like the mandatory side of it, the lack of empathy to it like that. I believe that if you're going to deport people, those cases should be listened to on a case-by-case basis. Look, a grandmom that skipped the line 40 years ago and has been in the country for 40 years, and now she got 2 generations of family members under her, and the only crime on the books is she is undocumented in this country. I don't put her in the same category as somebody that's over here selling keys of cocaine. I just think that it should be case by case. MAGA's mindset is just get them all the fuck out. And I think that's because MAGA kind of would be okay with getting rid of the legal ones out as well. Like when Trump said the Somalis are garbage, it didn't matter that a lot of those folks are naturalized and actually been born in America. They all can go. So it's just a whole group. There's no love for that whole group. So you're not going to get a case by case viewpoint out of MAGA because they just really would like to see the whole lot of them gone. And that's where the claims of hate is coming in because they're doing it like that. Kick her out. How the fuck you know? What do you mean by how do I know what? Private user. I don't get what KFC is closing 17 stores worldwide. KFC is almost gone. If you've been here that long, shouldn't you have made things right? Maybe not. And I'll tell you why. If you've been hiding under the radar that long, well, first of all, you fear coming to the surface and trying to do things right might get you kicked out, like under the Trump administration. There's no guarantee that if you came to the surface under Biden, Obama, or Bush, that wouldn't have happened. So if you've been able to successfully stay under the radar, maybe you're using a fake ID, you got a job, you got a place to stay, you got a car and all of that. I can understand why somebody may just stay in that situation because coming out of the shadows and trying to do it the legal way, first of all, there's no guarantee of success. That's the first thing. Second thing is it's going to cost a fortune to do that. Coming here legally is not cheap. It is absolutely costly to do it. I know because I went to another country and I went the legal way. It's not cheap to migrate to a country. And like I just stated, there's no guarantee of success. The Trump administration, last week, you had a bunch of immigrants that went through the whole process. And they're about to become citizens, not green card holders. They were about to actually become citizens, where you raise your hand, you take the oath, and become a U.S. citizen. They pulled them out the line and stopped that because some of those folks had ties to countries of suspicion. It doesn't matter what country I'm from. If I went through the whole process like that, obviously you've been vetted. It takes years to do that. They actually stopped folks that were about to become U.S. citizens last week. You can guarantee there was a whole bunch of crying in that. Guaranteed. Not to mention all the thousands of dollars you had to pay, all the medical exams. They do everything. I had to go through x-rays and all of that shit. All that. You got to pay for all that. Fingerprints exams, being vetted, all of that. They lost all of that money. So coming the legal way is not being honest when they tell you that. Illegals that live here that are more productive than Americans. Yeah, a lot of them are. I'm a veteran Marine and served with many black guys that they were the most racist people I've ever met. Yikes. Sorry for the experience. MAGA simply says to enforce existing laws, try going to any country without your passport and visa, see what happens. Happens all the time, Indiana Paul. America's not the only country that people show up and try to claim asylum and stay in. When I lived in Australia, people were coming there from Fiji, Somalia, Papua New Guinea. They were coming over there too. Every first world country has immigrants trying to get there. That's not something unique to America. Everybody wants to come to America. No, they want to go to any of those countries. America just happens to be the closest country they can get to. Real quick in the comments here. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything there. I'll go back to the box. King Finn, good evening, King. You got a TV on or something in the background?
Yes, greetings. And I ain't even finna go that far with you, man. I'm just gonna cut my music for you.
Yeah.
So I heard you was on here fluffing hard enough that Gangsta Grandma got in your ass tonight.
I didn't do shit. Gangsta Grandma. You got a TV or radio on in the background? You got something on in the background that's loud.
That's don't worry about that, man. I hope it's not as loud as it sounds. That's my OG, man. I'm over her house visiting with family.
Yeah, okay. Right.
No, like I was saying, man. I just want to know what you finna do now that this man has completely created war crimes. They stole the tanker. They lied to everybody. Told y'all it was about getting schmugs out of the boats. Where's MAGA Reacts and Jeremy and all them fools lying about how they was trying to get keep slugs out the country, but it come to find out they was trying to get a damn oil tanker. Where's MAGA now?
MAGA Reacts was on earlier. They still believe it's about drugs, but the oil tanker and the pardoning of the drug kingpin, they don't have an explanation for that.
That's crazy, man. That don't even make no sense. Like, for real. It's ridiculous that we still on that same BS. So he can take away the Civil Rights Act from 1964 and ain't nobody batting the damn eye. That's all good.
What do you mean? What are you talking about? Take away the Civil Rights Act.
You didn't see that story, huh?
No.
Where he said, Kristi Noem came out and said that people are bad actors and we need to get rid of these archaic. I can't remember exactly what she said word for word, but the story is out there. They're taking away the Voting Rights Act of 1964. They're finna abolish all of that. They're finna get rid of all of that shit. So that's all good, right? Y'all.
I don't know. Right? It's one thing when they say they want to do something. I don't know if they actually could do that though.
They finna do it. It ain't no. You did this about every single damn thing that we talked about. Every single time you say, "Oh, I don't know if they're gonna do it," they do it. No. Every single time.
The reason I'm saying that is because the voter right isn't that an amendment?
Does it matter?
Yeah, it matters. You can't.
If it's an amendment or not? No, it doesn't, because he's rolling back shit left to right. He can't. Takesha, I know you want to believe that. All I caution y'all to do is go look up Voting Act Rights of 1964. Trump revokes it. You can put it right into Google. Go look it up, because I was freaking out too. I was like, "What the?" And the story came out that Kristi Noem is already saying it's an archaic way of thinking, and they're finna repeal that shit.
Listen, it's like I said, it's different. It's one thing when they want to do something. I don't think they're going to be able to do that. I agree with Takesha. I'm looking at why he's going back. 22 Republic. Oh, no, that's not it. I don't see what you're talking about.
Voting rights. Hold on, because I'm going to run it too. Right.
I think you might be doing a little bit of liberal fear mongering.
60. I ain't fear mongering shit. You already know. I said that motherfucker trying to take over the world, and I told you that. Executive order changes enforcement policy to significantly alter how civil rights are interpreted and enforced, which critics argue undermines their original intent. Key actions taken by President Trump related to Civil Rights Voting Act includes rollback of Disparate Impact Standard. President Trump issued an executive order directing federal agencies to limit the use of disparate impact. Revocation of 1965, January 2025, separate executive order revoked. Executive order 11246, signed by Lyndon B. Johnson, 1965. I mean, he's basically eroding the voting.
I don't disagree that he wants to and they're trying to. I don't agree with you that he's going to successfully be able to do it, though. I don't believe that.
I don't know. I don't like it either way it goes. I don't like him touching that shit, because it's just like everything else you touch, it turns to shit. It's all bullshit. It's like the whole, oh yeah, he's trying to keep drugs, trying to keep slugs off the streets in America. No, he's not. He's not trying to do a damn thing, but do exactly what he said he was. Be greedy and get some oil. That's all he doing, man. What other reason could you have for that?
Yeah, the whole capturing of the oil tanker is, yeah, to me, that makes it pretty damn obvious that this isn't about drugs. I mean, like I've told MAGA Reacts and many of the other callers, Venezuela's, I mean, we've been watching drug movies ever since Scarface and New Jack City and all this shit. Venezuela was never known. Miami Vice is another. You never heard Venezuela come up as a drug capital. I mean, they do not like Maduro, and they just are basically making up a reason to find things wrong with that country. I mean, there may be some drugs coming out of that country. I'm not going to disagree with that, but as I said earlier, you could turn Venezuela into a sheet of glass and it would not stop nobody in America would have a problem getting high. Most people in this country are not getting their drugs from Venezuela.
Well, either way, the other problem I have is them doing this shit with the Somalians, that they're coming from a trash country. This is bullshit in the first offense, I would say, because I'm in Minnesota watching this shit happen live. Well, I'm in Flint right now, but in Minnesota for the last 2 or 3 weeks, watching this happen left and right. As soon as he said that shit, black trucks pull up, Bearcat pull up,
Ooh.
snatching people out their jobs, snatching people out of their damn
Isn't
store.
most of them here legally though?
Yeah, 95% of them are here.
So what is the purpose of ICE, to just go there, check them, and let them go?
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's the sad part, because you screwed these people's lives over, especially the ones that they were pulling out of work. Because I'm literally talking about they were pulling up to jobs, their job, and yanking them out their job. These people who own stores, they're pulling them out of the store, own restaurants, right out the restaurant. Like, come on, man, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
I don't
like. Yeah, other than just not liking them, I don't get that. If you look, even if you do believe that they're committing fraud, I think PPP loan fraud or somebody said they were committing or whatever. It's a difference between.
He said they were trying to fraud the welfare system, which is bullshit, because a lot of those people aren't on welfare. First of all.
Well, let's say even if what Trump said was true, where he even if what he's saying is true, where they're trying to defraud the welfare system or whatever, if they're citizens of the country, that's now a crime you deal with in the courts, but it's not ICE related. I mean, President Trump, Kristi Noem, and all of them, they would have to know. Larry Holman, you don't see him as much, but Larry Holman, all of them would have to know that most of these folks in this area that are Somali are here legally. Sending ICE to this town is a waste of time. You're not going to end up deporting anybody. These are all legal migrants. If they're here defrauding the system, then you send in the IRS or whatever and go at them for that. But there's no deportations going to come out of because a lot of them were born in America. You're not going to get any of them out of here.
I'm not going to go hard on you tonight because I'm over my mama's house. I'm going to save you from that. The next time we talk, I'm going to cuss your ass out. And MAGA Reacts, again, I'm going to tell you to keep my name out your fucking mouth. You don't know me. You don't know shit you talking about. And all you do is twist like a freaking pretzel. Don't start. Stay off my bad side. I'm trying to be cool, King, today. You're going to fuck with me, and I'm going to end up cussing your little weak ass out, too. And I've told you plenty of times, you have an open seat anytime you want to debate me, and I will crush you like the roach you are. Okay? Flat out. You're a fucking roach. Stay your Egyptian ass in that trailer park you in, and stop talking facts, because you have none.
You know, someone say your comments almost sound like you're racist.
I don't give a shit what they sound like. That roaches for raid don't get no respect. Okay? How you a roach praying for raid? You get no respect. Obviously, you want the motherfucking bottle or the boot, one of the two.
Well, he responds.
I didn't say your raggedy ass name.
Yeah, he responds by saying, "You said my fucking name. I wouldn't." He said, "I wouldn't waste my time say your name."
Hey, listen. I didn't say that raggedy motherfucking name. Tell him to go find his store. They waiting for him. Thank you. Come again.
All right.
Peace.
I'll leave it at that. All right, King. Appreciate it. Moving on with the program. What did I say here? Oh, looking in the comments here. Yeah, that's it. Trump wants to take over the country and run it for the rest of his life and then pass it on down to his sons. What do you people smoke? I don't know if you're being honest, if you're being sarcastic when you say that or whatever, but one of the things I say about President Trump all the time is you can't complain when people accuse you of something when you constantly are saying, I mean, he's selling Trump 2028 hats. I mean, he's posting pictures of himself wearing a crown. You know, he's just trolling the Democrats. He's just, well, look, if you're going to put yourself in that light that you're somehow going to be the president for another term, he's been questioned about it, and he was saying, I haven't thought about it, and there's a lot of people that want me to. I mean, okay, so if you're not giving a definitive no, the Constitution does not allow me to run a third term. I don't want to run a third term. If you're beating around the bush and shit when you're questioned about it, then you can't blame people for saying that you want to be a third term president or a king or something like that. His language is not even excluding it. Like Ghislaine Maxwell, for instance, I bring that up all the time. When he was asked, will he pardon Ghislaine Maxwell? Well, I really haven't thought about it. I could. Why not just say no? This woman is a serial pedophile. No, I would never pardon her. I'm a law and order president. I'm arresting drug dealers. I'm actually in favor of the sanctity of protecting children. I wouldn't pardon the pedo. Why not answer it like that? He's put her in minimum security and shit like that. So when the liberals start accusing him of this stuff, The right starts saying you got Trump derangement syndrome, and you guys just this is how he's responding to this stuff. He's not giving definitive, hell no, I would never do something that crazy type answers. He's giving these answers that lead people to speculate. Maybe he is thinking about it. He said no about running in 2028. He's said answers all over the place there, Tom. He's also selling Trump 2028 hats. In fact, he's the White House store. There's a store that sells, I got like shirts with the White House symbol and shit on them right here next to me. And sometimes I wear them with the White House logo and shit. Like, you can buy towels, t-shirts and all that. You can buy hats at the White House shop. They sell Trump 2028 hats at the White House shop, and Trump has taken dignitaries into the shop and showed them the hats. Why would you do that? Why would you take a dignitary or a leader of a foreign country and show them a 2028 hat? You're giving them the impression that you may be around in 2028. He's not clear on that. That's all I'm pointing out. He is not giving clear answers on that, which is why he's opening up the door for speculation. Trump is, in fact, the best president of our lifetimes. Reagan was decent, but controlled by George W. Bush. I'd have to ask, something, and you're not the only one to say that, Indiana Paul, but my response is this. If Trump is the best president of our lifetime, give me a couple of things that Trump has accomplished that 40, 50 years we're going to still be talking about. Because if you're really good, people are going to be talking about you for a while. What is President Trump accomplished that, when we're gone, people will still be talking about? Something big. Now, I do believe if Trump didn't take it away, Obamacare is something we'd be talking about for a while. People will be using that for, in fact, Trump is going to have to replace Obamacare with something. It may not be called Obamacare, but fact is, Obamacare has put something in place that people are dependent upon. You can't just take that away. It just won't be called Obamacare. But if Trump didn't destroy that, that's something that Obama accomplished that will be talked about for you. What has Trump done 30, 40 years from now? The only things I could think of that Trump has done, Space Force will certainly be around. And he should get credit for Operation Warp Speed, but because of how he rolled it out, he can't. But Operation Warp Speed, according to the scientists, responsible for saving millions of lives. But other than that, what has Trump done? Why are people calling him the greatest? What has he did? He's made liberals cry. I get that. He's pissed off a whole bunch of immigrants, black and brown people. But is that an accomplishment? So let me know if you're saying that he's going to be the best president ever. Forbes magazine declared Trump as the most healthiest president in U.S. history, suggesting we'll do a third and fourth. Okay, but what has he accomplished? For people are calling him the best. I want to know, what has he done to give him the title of the best? Watch Hannity. He is giving the green light to JD and Rubio for 2028. Also, Meet the Press said, he said, no, what you're saying isn't true. You're taking into account when Trump said no, but you're ignoring all of the times when he gave flaky answers or said he could. He didn't always say no. The 2028 hats are everywhere. He definitely did not flat out say, I would never run for a third term. That has never been said. He may have changed his tune and started saying it now, but he has absolutely indicated that he could run for a third term. I haven't thought about it yet. There's a whole lot of people that want me to do it. He didn't say no. And I know because I used to play videos about him doing it. What wars has Trump started, says Indiana Paul? Trump has started several wars. The only reason we're not at war is because he started wars with countries that are too weak to fight back. 7-foot guy punches you in the face and you don't want to fight back because the guy's too fucking big and strong. You just let him get away with it. He actually started a fight with you. Just because you didn't hit back don't mean he didn't start a fight. You just backed down because you didn't think you could win. Trump has started a war with Iran, Syria, Yemen, Venezuela. Those are wars. I mean, when you start blowing up people's shit and killing folks, those are wars. Those are things that we If somebody did to America what Trump did to Yemen, what Trump did to what he's doing to Venezuela, those would be acts of war. If somebody did that stuff to us, we would go to war with them for it. Like I said, it's like a 7-foot guy hitting you in the face and you just decide it ain't worth it to get in the fight back. That don't mean he didn't start a fight with you. That just means you didn't defend yourself because you didn't think you could. Trump has started war with several countries. Vance runs Trump as I don't get what that means there. But if you ask me which wars am I speaking of, I just gave them to you. If we were having boats bombed off the coast of the USA, like Colombia and Venezuela are, that would be an act of war. We would fight. We would go to war for that. If you seize one of our oil tankers, we would be willing to use the U.S. military and go to war to get that back. In fact, Captain Phillips, that Tom Hanks movie with the pirating, the Navy came out there and got that shit back. We were willing to go to war for that. So we would go to war for that stuff. It's just Trump is picking on weaker countries, and they just ain't fighting back. But he is hitting them in the face. People died when we bombed Iran, Iran's nuclear program. I mean, those are war. Those are acts of war. They just ain't fighting back. Venezuela started the drug war with the U.S. Venezuela ain't started a drug war with America. Oh my God, that's crazy. I don't even know what to do with that. If you're going to say Venezuela started a drug war with America, then I guess you're going to say that there's a host of countries that have sold drugs to America. Why only Venezuela? There's a host of countries that provide drugs to this country. Calm down. Even Republicans wouldn't be in favor of him running in 2028. We aren't as deranged as the left is. I disagree with you 100%. There are a host of Republicans that would be a fan of Trump running in 2028. Listen, J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, who else? Is there anybody on the right that would get the same amount of love, support, and adoration of Trump? I think the right would prefer to have Trump in as a third term over any of those folks. None of them are going to get the same support, have the same amount of power as President Trump. If Trump is replaced by J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Don Jr., the party gets weaker because everybody ain't going to fall in line behind any of those folks like they do Trump. So the idea that nobody would want Trump to run a third term, that's flat out false. People are making a killing financially because of the power he has, the stock market. There's people in the Marjorie Taylor Greens. There are plenty of people making money like that. The idea that nobody would want Trump to run a third term, that's crazy. I absolutely disagree with that. I say we get rid of the American government and replace it with what, John? Trump? What are you going to replace the American government with? People will hate Trump. There's some people who don't like him now. MAGA supporters can't take off their knee pads. Yikes. I strongly recommend you fact check the casualties stemming from the nuclear strikes. I don't care if it's 0 casualties. If you start bombing within the sovereign territory of the United States, that's an act of war. Even if everybody survives, you're launching strikes within a sovereign nation. That is an act of war. You don't have to kill anybody to do that. That alone is an act of war. And we've done that to Iran. His base alone can't elect him in 20. That I agree with that. No, his base alone cannot elect him. But I do believe there's plenty of MAGA that would love to see Trump run a third term. USA Today and Chicago Tribune stated that Barack Obama and Jose Medino are the 2 most disgusting and useless presidents in the history of the world. I would have to, out of all of the presidents we've had, Obama? Who else? Joe Biden. You're saying the USA Today and the Chicago Tribune stated that Barack Obama and Joe Biden are the 2 most disgusting and useless presidents in the history of the world. Now, I don't believe that unless it's an editorial, somebody that wrote in their opinion. But when we talk about the worst, you're putting Biden and Obama against Stalin? They're worse than Hitler? They're worse than Mao? Really? That's laughable. It is clearly a divided country. To say he's the best is obviously delusional. A lot of folks believe President Trump was the best president we've ever had. You figure you would learn from the first time, John, I guess I can see that. When the world sees your Putin's bitch, you go find a 4 or 5 guy punch. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. When Trump came into power, it's pretty clear that he ain't controlling Putin. In fact, I was one of the ones on the program that was giving President Trump credit. I actually did believe when he said he could stop the war in 24 hours. I was like, maybe not that fast, but I believe that Trump would be a much better person at ending the Russia-Ukraine war than Kamala Harris. I said because him and Putin have a good relationship. I did believe he could do it pretty quick. It's almost been a year, and he hasn't came. In fact, he's telling Zelensky to back down. He has no control over Putin. Zero. He's telling Zelensky to just give Putin basically what he wants. So, certainly me, but maybe many of you certainly overestimated the relationship between Trump and Putin. Putin ain't doing shit that Trump is asking. He's actually telling Zelensky, you ain't got the cards. You need to just give up a certain amount of your country because you're going to lose anyway. So I didn't expect Trump to fail at that one. I thought he was going to succeed at that, but he's done terrible with ending that war. We should have built that wall in 1400. These Wasai chew under, what the hell are you talking about? They don't have a good relationship. This is a lie. Yeah, they don't have a good relationship. I thought they had a good relationship, though. Obama and Hillary were Putin's bitch, please. Yeah. If you think Obama, you got to throw Trump in there as well, I suppose. Cartel sending large speedboats full of fentanyl to the United States shores is not an act of war. The Venezuelan people are begging for Trump's help. No, it's not an act of war sending drugs to the country. If the country, look, the drugs that are coming into America are not being forced on anyone. America wants those drugs. Just like the amount of guns that are going into Mexico are those guns that the cartel is armed because of America. So you're going to talk about their drugs coming over here and Americans dying at the hands of their drugs. Well, our guns going over there are killing them people. Are we declaring war on them because of that? No. Because at the end of the day, the drugs that are coming to America, can you prove that the government is doing that? Or is it factions within their country that's doing that? No, it's not. No, they're not declaring war on them. You're saying by them having drugs come to America, that means the whole country is declaring war on America. That's crazy. No, that's stretching what a declaration of war is to justify some bullshit. We've always had drugs coming in this country from other places. We've never considered that as a declaration of war. That's fucking crazy. New York Times and Wall Street Journal requested Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden. I don't know where you're going with that. Trump is Putin and Israel's bitch. MAGA are Trump's bitches. Jesus. Anyhow, folks, I do appreciate the 145,000. As always, you guys know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. We will remain MAGA friendly, as always. Anytime you want to come up on the program, as I said, we will certainly be on throughout the week. So if you enjoy this type of dialogue from all sides of the aisle without any concern of the host trying to block, ban, or censor you, because we are MAGA friendly. We may not agree with everything MAGA says, but damn it, I do believe MAGA should be allowed to speak, and we don't ever censor anyone on the program, regardless of what side of the aisle is on. What do we say? We go left of Bernie Sanders till I'm having dinner with Q. Favor this type of dialogue? Feel free to follow the program if you're currently watching on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. And if you're watching on YouTube, give your boy a sub. Until then, I'll see you folks mañana. Gots to go. Take care.